Oh boy! So we're going to be watching the court proceedings that happened yesterday with Timothy Busfield. I said we were going to do it, and we're going to do it. So I'm going to do a little bit of an intro to wait for people to come in, and then we'll get into it. All right, hang on, and let's go.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
All right, and we are live. My hair is going nuts because I took a shower and my hair was just like boing.
Same thing.
I'm just gonna go with it.
Mine's not so boingy, but it's also disappearing. So I'd rather have your boingy with lots of hair than my not boingy.
I've always said I'd rather have gray hair than no hair. So
yeah. Well, at least I still have some, so I can't. It'll be worse.
Boing. Okay. So let me share my screen here. All right. I don't see my Julio on the screen. What's going on with this? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I don't know why I put your old logo on there. I don't know. Oh my God. It's weird.
2 Julios.
Wow. 2 for the price of 1.
No thanks. One's enough.
Okay, so this is the very beginning. It's 2 hours. We're going to talk about it. Okay, the people that are watching this after the fact, we are not lawyers. We've been following this case for the last week, and we're watching him in court. So we're just going to give our opinions on what's going on or what's said, and point out a few times that we are correct. So we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So all right. So let me hit play and get into it.
Well, this is pause real quick. This is in case people don't know, this is in regards to Timothy Busfield being accused of inappropriate contact with a pair of 11-year-old twins on a TV show he used to work at.
That's correct. And we did a live stream the other day, and we talked about it. And they're also bringing up some of the allegations he had in the 90s and then the early aughts. They're trying to paint a picture, but do they have enough for the judge to be like, oh yeah, let's go forward. So that's I've heard the outcome, but I wanted to not say it, so I wanted to watch it in real time. So that's why we did a live stream. So yeah.
All right. So I do have experience with lawyers in court, and this is probably his lawyer saying, "You're going to say this. You're going to say this. You're going to say this. You're
Okay.
not going to mention this." Just prepping him for what's coming and what they're going to do.
Okay. Makes sense. Game plan.
Yeah, game plan. Because although they're not going to want him as a defendant to say anything unless he has to,
Yeah.
it's important as a defendant to at least know what your team is doing or what your lawyer's plan is. Because in the end, you do have final say on whether you're comfortable with what they do and what they don't.
And he doesn't really need to testify, right? Because it's up to the state to come up with a case. If they got nothing, there's no reason for him to testify.
I would imagine if he goes back to court, that he'll eventually have to get on the stand and answer some questions. But I believe this is a pre-trial hearing, I think.
Yeah, this is basically,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. It says appears in court in New Mexico. Appears in New York. It just says abuse case. I think this is like the pre-trial to see if they're going to actually go to trial, right?
I think so. Right. And
So-
whether they're going to hold him until trial or not.
So the state is basically giving their evidence and saying this is what we have. They might call up a witness or two and say this is our witnesses, and then this is where they can basically put in their evidence into. This is where you submit it, right?
Yeah, well, they'll be, oh gosh, see, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm only going back on my,
Yeah, just going based off common knowledge. Yeah, I know.
and my
We're
experience.
not lawyers. I'm just
Which is, divorce was but it was a long one. But usually there might be a discovery phase when either the defendant, Busfield, or the plaintiffs are asked to provide any documentation, communication from that time period, text messages, emails, anything that could possibly be incriminating.
Okay.
They can ask for that. In my case, which was a divorce, they asked me to bank records, all that kind of stuff. The only time I didn't know exactly what I was going to do in court, I wasn't coached by my lawyer, was when I was called on the stand by the plaintiff.
okay.
And they would ask me questions. In my case, you were making X amount of money, now you're making X amount of money. Why? Just trying to, gotcha stuff. But it's easy if you don't have anything to hide, which is why people should tell the truth all the time.
Yeah.
You tell the truth. And that's it.
Yeah.
It is nerve-wracking, though. And I would imagine more so for Timothy Busfield, given the accusations that are kind of being put on him, and then some of the immediate reaction on social media and the normal suspects who will still immediately believe anything without thinking about it for 2 minutes.
Correct. And it's interesting that they consider him a flight risk, so they've got freaking PD like all over him.
I think it's a bit much, but okay.
I think it's a bit much too. You're innocent till proven guilty, but yet we're going to have law enforcement like hovering over top of you. Okay.
That's what bothers me a little bit, and I don't I'm not going to keep saying I'm not a lawyer and not a policeman, but it seems like they haven't. Somebody just said, yeah, he did this, but they haven't proven anything quite yet. So why is he in cuffs and have cops? I mean, that seems a little. I don't know.
The dude, remember what 2 years ago when the guy ran over a bunch of people during a Christmas parade?
Yeah,
he didn't have this much freaking cops around him and everything.
It seems a bit much. Maybe it's because of the nature of the accusations. Maybe, but it just seems odd to me that if somebody, for instance, let's say some woman from 20 years ago that I met at a bar and chatted with for a minute, all of a sudden said, I'm going to go after Julio and accused me of doing something.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't. Does that mean I would
get
arrested?
living for 20 years before the accusation?
Well, would I automatically be cuffed, thrown in jail, and have to perp walk and all this? I mean, it just seems, I don't know, man. It doesn't. A lot of this seems odd to me. I think Melissa Gilbert, they said she was somewhere in the gallery. I think that's
She's
what
right
they
there.
call. Oh my God, is that her?
Yeah.
Huh.
Little House on the Prairie on Melissa Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, she's a little crazy, but okay.
Yeah. She's dressed like she's on Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, no shit. She needs to be running in the fields and stuff.
Right? right?
I mean, she didn't really have any career after that, right? Other than maybe Screen Actors Guild president or something.
That's all I know of her of is Little House on the Prairie and yammering, basically being a loony lefty type, which is not surprising. I will say she was, let's see, what is she, 61 years old? So she looks pretty good. I mean, I'm just saying she aged well, I guess I would say. She aged like a 60-year-old. She looks like a 60-year-old woman as opposed to being all Botoxed and face pulled and stuff. Pleasant. Should I had flashbacks. I almost stood up.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, she was in Little House on the Prairie, Diary of Anne Frank in 1980, The Miracle Worker in 1979. So everything when she was a little kid. Gilbert served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild from 2001 to 2005. She briefly ran for Congress in 2016, but withdrew her candidacy before election. She's an author of several memoirs, a children's book, and a cookbook.
Mexico versus Timothy Busfield, D202, PD 2026-51.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Savannah Brandenburg-Koch and Joseph Stevens on behalf of the state.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Christopher Dodd and Amber Fairberg on behalf of Timothy Busfield.
Okay, thank you all. All right, so parties, we're here today on the state's motion for pretrial detention. Prior to the hearing, I received the state's 6 exhibits.
And so, in your opinion, do you think his lawyers are going to just be like mid, or you think they're going to be pretty badass?
I would imagine him and Melissa Gilbert probably have some money, so he probably got some good lawyers.
I bet you they're real good. Like I said, I watched the first 20 minutes or so, but I didn't see their, pleading the case of Timothy Busfield. So we'll see. Yeah.
Well, in American courts, the judicial system, if you have money, it's a big help.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfair, but it's the way it is.
Yeah.
And the defendants A through BB, 28 exhibits.
Something like that, Your Honor.
The court is going to enter in the background history report and the public safety assessment as courts exhibits 1 and 2, but I think those are already reflected in what you guys have submitted. So those all being admitted, each side will have 1 hour for its presentation, and we'll start with the state, Ms. Brandenburg-Koch.
Thank you, Judge. Is it okay if I come up to the podium?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, this lawyer's been here, there, and around the square. Are you familiar with the UFC fighter John Jones?
No.
Okay, he was one of the best fighters of all time, but he kept getting in trouble.
Okay.
He defended him.
The state is requesting that this court find the defendant dangerous.
What, Busfield's lawyer?
Yes, the guy that's sitting to the left of Timothy Busfield.
Okay, this gentleman right here.
Yeah, his name's Christopher Dodd, I believe, and he's kind of a
badass.
He's been around the block with some high profile clients.
Okay.
And that there are no conditions of release that this court can impose to secure the safety of this community. As the court noted, I did send exhibits. Defense has a copy of those as well. The state's exhibits.
Can you hear it all right?
are
Because I turned it
focused
down
on
just a
what
little bit, but
Rule
did you hear it all right?
Actually requires.
Turn it up just a
Pretrial detention is
tad?
not a credibility
All right.
trial. It's not a civil damages dispute.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Nor is
Thank
it the studio's internal investigation.
Because I figured we are going to be talking,
which
so that's
is
why I
at
turned it down a little bit.
I agree with you. Yep.
and Insufficient. It's whether the defendant is dangerous and if the court can impose conditions to secure the safety of the community. Thank you. And that's what the state will be focusing on. As I go through the state's exhibits, I will address some of the defendant's exhibits as well. I know the court gave the state an hour, so I would like to reserve some time for rebuttal as well. So the state's first exhibit is just the printout of Odyssey of the defendant's history here in New Mexico, which the state shows that there is none besides the underlying charges here. State's Exhibit 2 is the register of actions from the underlying case that we're here on, and just an event of showing when the criminal complaint was filed and the arrest warrant and when that warrant was served, along with the criminal complaint. which I will mostly focus on today. So I want to give some context, as there's a lot of defense exhibits along with the arrest warrant that is pretty lengthy. The named victims in this case, they started working on this show, The Cleaning Lady, in 2021. They filmed the pilot. They were asked later to come back for seasons 1 through 3, and that lasted until spring of 24. SL did the primary acting for seasons 1 and 2, although VL acted as well, and VL did the primary acting in season 3. Before season 4, there was a lot of back and forth with the children if they were going to continue to be casted in their role. After
Which is
the three
standard operating
seasons,
procedure depending on the
boys
writing.
were asked to
Sure.
audition, which something they didn't have to do through seasons 1, 2, and 3.
And that also happens too because
They had
people
that
grow
audition
up
here in
and they look
Albuquerque
different,
in
they sound
September
different.
of 2024. The lead actress in this show, her name is Elodie Young, and she was very close with the family. They went on vacations. However, she has not been compliant with this investigation.
I see the lawyer in the background like, oh,
At
really?
that time of the audition, Miss Young
Oh, really?
asked the parents, asked the mother of the parents to
Is
come
it
to
possible that
audition
she's
and
part
leave
of the
her husband at
defense?
home.
Is it possible?
They arrived. VL was taken in a back room to do this
Surprise witness.
audition,
Hostile.
and then they left after the audition. Later, they found out that VL or SL was not going to be casted for the role that they've been in for the first 3 seasons,
Cast, not casted.
and only VL auditioned that day. Which, after they were released, the parents, I believe, posted that they were thankful for their opportunities, was very thankful for the show. Even though at that time the show was still using the boys, the victims in this case, to promote season 4.
Get-
So eventually this brings us to the start of the investigation, which is the state's 2.
What were you going to say?
I was wondering why they're. I guess they can't use the kids' names because at the time they were minors, even though now they're not. I guess that's the rule.
No, they're still minors. I think they're like 12 or something now.
Oh,
'Cause
they
this
are
is when they were
Oh.
like 7. No.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So at the time they were 7. Now they're 10.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Fair.
What was I going to say? Let me back it up a little bit because I was going to say something about it, but I can't remember now.
The lead actress in this show, her name is Elodie Young, and she was very close with the family. They went on vacations. However, she has not been compliant with this investigation.
Still smiling
Time of
that
the audition,
she can't.
Miss
I guarantee
Young
she's for the
asked the
defense.
parents-
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed.
It's like I don't know nothing about
asked
this.
the mother of the parents to come to that audition and leave her husband at home. They arrived. VL was taken in a back room to do this audition, and then they left after the audition. Later, they found out that VL or SL was not going to be casted for the role that they've been in for the first 3 seasons,
Even though it's cast, but okay.
It's annoying.
and only VL auditioned
Maybe I'm wrong.
that day.
Nope, it's cast. She knew.
She needs to do gooder.
Yeah.
After they were released, the parents, I believe, posted that they were thankful for their opportunities, was very thankful for the show. Even though at that time the show was still using the boys, the victims in this case, to
Oh, I know what I was going to say to promote it, because we talked about this before with Corey Feldman. They used a likeness agreement and they used an NDA. They can use their pictures or their photographs anytime that they want to because they signed up. Like they can use it after filming. They can use it anytime because they because of the documents that they signed. That's not an uncommon thing. So I don't know why she's bringing this up.
It seems like it would be irrelevant to
Yes.
the case, to me anyway.
Yeah.
promote season 4. So eventually this brings us to the start.
because as far as I'm concerned, if you're bringing it up, then the parents are pissed off that they didn't get cast for season 4. If you're bringing it up,
I think that's been reported that people feel that may be the main driver of this whole.
well, the
lawsuit.
defense is going to say that, yeah, for sure. But you understand, like how is it relevant unless you think that she's going to the mom's going to have some sort of axe to grind because her kids weren't cast in it.
Correct. Yeah.
So
Of the investigation, which is the state's 2. There was concerns about abuse because the parents were being tagged in social media posts about the defendant's history. Because of those concerns, they asked their boys if there was any, with anyone, not just Mr. Busfield, but with anybody, if they were having any issues or inappropriate touching, anything like that. Or if they, actually, I think it was very clear that if they were uncomfortable in any situation. When the boys said, "Do you mean like with Uncle Tim?" Later, in November of 2024, the children were seen at UNMH. In UNMH, the doctor there is the one that referred this case, called the police and reported it, which as a mandated reporter needed to. So based off of
the other day when I was saying that sometimes a psychologist or somebody, mandated reporter, that's what it's called, where they're obligated to say something.
Yeah, if it has something to do, I would imagine, with abuse of a minor, they would have to report.
Because I couldn't come up with the name of it, but that's what it is, mandated reporter.
See, we're learning stuff.
doctor seeing the children and
We're
speaking
educating.
with the parents and doing a medical history. They had concerns about grooming and the sexual abuse, and they reported it to law enforcement.
Here's one of the problems that I have is she brings up grooming. How do you know that somebody's being groomed if they immediately thought that, like, oh, they're being groomed, so there's a problem?
Yeah, well, plus you have to kind of define what you mean by grooming. Like, you could be grooming somebody to be a successful singer when they're young, or a successful piano. You know what I mean? I mean, but now the connotation when you hear grooming, you automatically think it's in a sexual nature.
That's a liberal term when they don't like you. Mm-hmm. And Busfield is probably a liberal. He's probably not a Republican.
No, he's not. His lawyer's liberal as hell. I mean, his lawyer ran some officer out of an elected position because he had something to do with J6. He was, I'm sure they're all lefties. I mean,
so she's using liberal terms on somebody who's liberal.
But back in the day, you would hear often like, well, we're grooming him to become the COO of the company, or meaning preparing him.
So now what they're trying to say is they're grooming him to touch penises or something.
I guess.
Okay.
APD later, I believe the same day, were dispatched to the parents' homes. They talked to the parents and they talked to the boys. The boys did not disclose any sexual abuse, but did disclose signs of grooming and did disclose that the defendant... Signs
of grooming? What are those signs?
I don't know. Maybe they'll go into detail in the complaint. You would think you would need more.
You would think you need more
than like a 12-year-old saying, I don't know. Yeah, it's
signs of grooming. Like, what exactly is that? She's not going into detail. What exactly is that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she's the state, so could be a problem.
They're just getting. I mean, she may just be getting. This is kind of like the preamble. Maybe she'll get.
Yeah, but you'd have to define it, right? What they think is grooming. Mm-hmm. Like Mr. Busfield told them, like gave them nudie magazines. Mr. Busfield, read them bedtime stories, and then he got in bed with them. You know what I mean? Like give me specifics on what is grooming and what their concerns were.
Yeah, especially
just immediately, I was grooming.
I think this session here is pretty much to determine whether Timothy Busfield is a flight risk or a danger to the public and therefore needs to be kept in jail until the trial, or if he can go free until the trial.
So they're trying to use grooming, basically saying, well, he might groom somebody else when he leaves a prison right now or jail right now.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and had touched them. Because there was no disclosure of sexual abuse, APD essentially closed the case. CACU said they weren't able to take the case. During this time, after the doctor visit, I believe, in November 2024, the kids then started therapy. I do want to note that in child abuse cases, I know the court is aware of this, is very typical that, well, one, officers are not supposed to speak with children, right? Because of the power dynamic. And they want to make sure they're getting a reliable disclosure. So it's not uncommon that the kids did not disclose at that time or were ready to disclose at that time to a police officer that showed up at their house. Also, it's not best practices when interviewing a child according to our MDD structure by statute in New Mexico and across the country.
I hate the word or the term power dynamic. Well, because he was a producer and she's a peon and he thinks he could treat somebody the way that they want to be treated. I hate that bullshit.
Yeah.
I hate that verbiage.
It's another nebulous term, much like grooming. Like, well,
Yeah.
what do you mean exactly? Like, well,
Yeah,
of course, there's a
define
power.
it.
He's a producer and the kid's an actor. Of course, there's a power dynamic.
Yeah.
Later, in February of 25, February 17th and 18th, there was a referral made to the SAG hotline about the boy that took over the role that the twins played. And that referral essentially said that a person saw the defendant kiss the boy while he was getting a haircut, that the defendant was intoxicated, and he had been drinking in his trailer as well.
Okay.
The next day, there was another referral made to the SAG hotline about how the defendant was alone with VL during this audition back in September. It's my understanding that the parents of the victims in this case did not make any of those referrals because of the liability.
Which is in my opinion, a problem.
Yeah, well, unless the parents weren't there, so somebody else might have independently called the hotline to say, "Hey, there's some shady shit going on over there with Busfield and this kid." I don't know.
Well, no, you have to have a parent on set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that I did.
One of the parents has to be there.
Gotcha.
Because if there's an emergency, see, they're not going into the lot of fact that there's like, you have to have like, there's a shit ton of permits. You need a fire code permit. There's all kinds of permits and all kinds of stuff that you have to have. And a legal guardian has to be on set with their child. Like I never worked on a show where there was a kid that was on set that their parent or guardian wasn't there.
That seems like it would be restrictive for the parents, because if a child is in a show that tapes regularly on a weekday, then what, the parent can't work? Like I guess they have to not have a job so they can be on set all the time.
I mean, it'd be tough if it was a single parent, but
Yeah.
would you not want to be on the set of your kid that's on set with a bunch of fucking strangers? Would you not want to be there?
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying that a parent shouldn't be there. I was just thinking, gosh, the parents would have to.
Yeah. Dedicate their life too. Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's where sometimes if there's a problem with parents taking their kids' money, and that's a whole different conversation, but I think it has a lot to do with it because the parents are giving up a lot too. Mm-hmm. And they need money to survive. They need money to make sure the kids fed, make sure that they have clothes. Mm-hmm. Regardless if the person is acting or not, they still have responsibilities to do it. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of gray area when it comes to that shit too, about parents taking their kids' money when they're like a superstar or actor or something.
That's an interesting point there, and an interesting topic too.
And now these referrals, Warner Brothers did their own investigation and hired, I believe, outside counsel, Ms. Govern, to conduct this investigation. I know that is part of defense's exhibits. However, if you actually read those, the first one that was done in February, I believe it concluded in March, beginning of March.
I did read them.
Thank you. They
Judge is like,
they didn't
yeah, read that.
interview any of the necessary witnesses to what was actually reported, which I think shows you the reliability of the investigation as well. After that investigation was concluded and there was a report, it's my understanding that Warner Brothers or this outside counsel was calling the parents of the twin boys. They went to talk to a civil attorney on how to address any communications, and I believe their attorney sent some concerns or a letter, I'm not too sure exactly, but sent some information about the boys. That's the second report that, as you see, is not done till September of 2025. In that report, there are concerns of sexual abuse, and nobody, the independent attorney nor Warner Brothers, ever just reported this abuse. As we know in New Mexico, it's mandated that everybody, not just teachers, doctors, are mandated reporters, but everybody is. And so it is concerning that an investigator who is still investigating, even though they didn't talk to the kids or anyone relevant to that information, they still didn't report any abuse despite this letter.
Okay, so she's saying
And
the
they
independent
found-
investigation
in
did not
both
reach out to the
findings, they found that there was
the parties in
no
question. Maybe they
wrongdoing,
reached out and the people didn't want to
even
talk.
though their investigation
possible.
was pretty minimal.
Very, very possible.
The witnesses needed weren't ever interviewed.
And do you think it's possible that the counsel that they reached out to, which is probably not the state, the family had their own lawyer, or they reached out to a family friend,
Sure of that.
that lawyer said, "Don't say shit," because we want it to go to a court of law, and Warner Brothers is going to save their ass.
Yeah. Well, the father of the twins was a lawyer.
Yeah, he's an ex-lawyer that got he got
disbarred.
debarred.
Debarred, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, disbarred, I think. But yeah, so he probably knows his way around a courtroom, I would imagine.
It's very possible. He probably said, "Don't say shit." We want it to go to court, or we want it to do this, we want it to do that. Don't say shit. If Warner Brothers calls or the press calls or whatever, you know what I mean?
There, SAG, whoever does the independent
Internal
investigation.
yeah.
Which now brings us, because that report was done in September of 2025, which now brings us to how the boys then disclose the sexual abuse against the
And here's the
defendant.
thing: is Warner Brothers might have had an
during
executive on
therapy.
that, but they weren't there.
Not the parents.
Nah.
All they're going to do is ask
To
production
a
guys, the
neutral
producers,
party.
director, other actors.
That SL
Done.
described sexual abuse by the defendant, and VL disclosed inappropriate touching. SL
He hugged me.
even disclosed
Guarantee
in
that's what
therapy
it is.
Maybe.
that he was mad at his dad because he thought he knew that it was going on because he had the iPad or these links to watch his children. The therapist then made a referral. I believe that then a doctor saw the kids at Journey Pediatrics. Also, the therapist, throughout their time, had diagnosed one of the boys, SL, with PTSD because of these issues.
Stop it.
Yeah.
In September, SL was seen by a doctor at Journey Pediatrics.
PTSD,
who
what,
also
hugging?
Reported
Right.
or indicated sexual abuse.
Just stop it.
in that
Didn't she say that
visit.
the counselor was a friend of the family?
If she did say that, I missed it. And if she did say that, that's a little odd.
I don't want to take it back that much. I thought she was saying it was a friend or a friend of the family or something.
It's possible.
And treatment of the children.
Well, I'm sure the
I
defense will
also
bring it
wanna
up if
make
they
something clear
if
that
it is.
The doctor at Journey Pediatrics in September of 2025 was the one who reported the concerns to CYFD. The mother did not call CYFD. It was the doctor. I know that the court is aware of this. However, it is the norm in child sexual abuse cases that kids delay disclose, and for many reasons that are also present here in this case. About 80% of children delay disclose. That's not only known nationally and supported by literature, but also in my experience prosecuting these cases. So it is not abnormal, but the
I
norm
disagree 100.
on
I
how
disagree
the
with
kids
whatever
report it.
facts that she's got. I disagree.
It's also very normal that kids give a little.
You're going to tell me that somebody who's present in their kids' lives don't know, and I'm talking about when they're little. I'm not talking about when they're teenagers or adults.
Of course.
I'm talking about little. You're going to sit there and tell me that the parents don't know everything that goes on with that kid 24/7?
I grew up in a single parent household. I guarantee you, my mom knew everything.
My parents knew everything I was thinking,
Yeah.
everything I was doing, everything. So you're going to sit there and tell me that the parents didn't have some sort of sneaking suspicion that there might be something going on?
And when they
Scorpio?
mention things like inappropriate touching, let me tell you, I played soccer for 6 years when I was young, like from 8 to 13 or so.
Yeah.
And I had a coach that would, if I made a bad play, he'd come and put his arm around me and kind of go, "It's all right." And he'd pat me on the head. And
Did you ever get the old the smack on the ass thing?
no.
I
he didn't do
played
that.
baseball, so it was like, good job, Derek. Smack on the ass.
Well,
but I
that's
didn't
more-
say, he was grooming me. Oh my
Correct.
god.
That's my point. Like
That's
nowadays,
exactly what they're fucking doing.
somebody could say that my soccer coach, well, he was inappropriately touching him. Like, no, he was just giving me like, "Hey, get out there. You can do this."
Yeah,
A little, I don't know, coaching.
yeah.
Little bit at a time to test.
Because that's what a coach is supposed to do. They're supposed to tell you good job, but also kick you in the butt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not physically. I'm talking about like verbally or like, dude, you need to do it this way. You need to freaking do it this way.
Yep.
Because if you do it this way, you're in trouble. But you have to do it this way. So there has to be some sort of law laid down, kind of.
It's almost like
little bit.
they're grooming you into being a better athlete.
the waters to see what
I hate that
happens.
freaking word.
Well, I'm trying to use it in a
As
different
reported
context.
in their
Maybe a
forensic
positive
interview, They
light.
talked about being scared. They talked about people being mean to them. And so that also shows why a delayed disclosure is typically made and supported by the literature.
Delayed like in 3 years?
Hibbity jibbity bullshit.
It's like 2 or 3 years, right?
In October of 2025, October 31st of 2025, after this investigation started again with the detective on this case, during those safe house interviews, again, to a neutral third party, the boys disclosed the abuse. I also want to make this clear that the boys never said that the abuse happened when they were alone with the defendant. They actually indicated that some people were around and some people would leave. They never said that this happened when they were alone with him. So these arguments coming from defense and the
Again, define abuse. So you're sitting there telling me that a person got abused with other people around.
Yeah,
What,
that
you told the kid no, and that's abusive behavior? Or I need you to act this way. I need you to do this way. I need you to focus. Griffin, on my movie, Griff was great. But there was one day that he was having a hell of a time trying to focus because he's a little kid.
sure.
And we got through, and it was our day that was our longest day. And I only raised my voice with Griff one time, and it was like, Griff, get your ass over here so we can finish our day. And oh, sorry, Derek. And then he went over and did it. But it's just like sometimes you have to be like, Griff, you got to focus, dude. We got a day to make. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, it's part of being I guess a mentor would be a better word than grooming. But yeah, when you're right. Plus, you were like, he wanted to be an actor at the time. I don't know if he still does, and you knew your way around a movie set.
Yeah.
So you're the source of education.
Yeah.
His parents wouldn't know, right? I mean, they're there to protect
But
him.
his mom and family were in the movie. Mom was there the whole time. She was a nurse, so I asked her stuff when it came to the hospital stuff. Like, hey,
Oh.
like what would you, if a kid came in, how would you handle this as a nurse? So if you notice, everything that we do is by the book, because I had a nurse. I literally was asking, like, what is the procedure? What would happen during this time?
So they had more of a collaborative posture with you, or a
Correct.
partnership in a way, as opposed to these parents we're talking about here who seem to be
In catering or in crafty fucking off somewhere.
more of a combative.
Maybe in his trailer, because the kids probably had trailers.
Exhibits provided.
Because it's not an indie film, so every actor's going to have a trailer.
Don't add up with the testimony and with the kids' disclosures that they have given. The boys also disclosed how it made them feel and how uncomfortable they were. What's also noticeable is that when SL discloses the timeline of abuse, it matches up with the other witnesses, including his set teacher, the person that supervised him while on set, changed, that his behavior changed, that he didn't want to act anymore. He didn't want to be around anymore. So this isn't just coming from the child, but this is all.
That's a little kid who's frustrated, hungry, something. You're talking about a 7-year-old kid. They want to go home if they don't get their way on whatever it is. They want to go home. I don't want to act anymore. I don't want to do this no more. I want to go home. I want to eat your food. I want to hang out with Timmy. I want to do.
Yep.
That's little kids right there. So she's explaining what a little kid does.
Yep. Or I mean, it's just conjecture here, but the parents might have been your typical stage parents.
I want to play Pokemon. I want whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. I'm like that at my job now.
I'm on lunch. I need to go to lunch. Damn it. I'm hungry.
I'm trying to order some DoorDash. I'm trying to play a video game over here.
So I'm going to share something really, really quickly that you had sent us. I'm going to blow it up just a tiny bit. Yeah. And this is the complaint, right?
This is the defense's response.
Okay, this is defense's response
to the state saying that Timothy Busfield needs to stay in jail until the trial. So this is a defensive. Okay,
so this is going to come out probably the second half of the video. This right here. And finally, as the allegations of Mr. Busfield isolated the twins out of sight and sound, the investigator found that there is virtually no time that a minor could be alone with an adult who is neither their parent nor a studio teacher. Studio teachers' role are to set extends beyond simply schooling the minors. They are on set to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the minors per SAG-AFTRA rules and regulations, and it is the case the state of New Mexico laws. Each studio teacher goes through extensive training in all of the mandated reporters, which a student teacher is. None of these student teachers investigator interviewed as part of the investigation of the prior investigation of anonymous complaints had ever seen Mr. Busfield engage in behavior that they thought raised a red flag or caused them concern. Had they observed any questionable behavior, each I don't know what the hell that word is, stated that it would be have been reported immediately. So we talked about this the other day, and I said the exact same thing. Yep. There's the AD. There's the second AD. There is the student teacher. There is the parent. The chances of a little kid being on set without somebody right there is slim and none.
Right. So
slim and none.
In summary, basically, it looks like this says they interviewed the mandated reporters, and all of them said, well, they were never alone with Timothy Busfield.
Yeah.
When we didn't see any of this shit happen.
And it's like, well, the abuse happened in front of people. What? He hugged them? Is that abusive behavior?
Well, I think we will find out more about these plaintiffs and accusers later, I believe, about their past. It's something.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting document. So we're gonna refer to that some more when it becomes relevant.
Yeah, there's some good quotes in there.
Also coming from witnesses, his behavior corroborates what he is saying as well. What is also important and throughout this investigation
Important.
is what the defendant told police.
Yeah, English isn't
He
her
stated
primary
that he
language,
would
apparently.
tickle and pick up the boys, even though he knew that with Warner Brothers, they weren't allowed to be alone or touching. But then later, he contradicts himself and says that he doesn't really even remember the boys, after he's already said he did tickle the boys, and it's highly likely that he did touch them. Not sexually, but touch them by tickling them in all of the other grooming aspects that the kids disclosed.
More hibbity-jibbity.
So his own statement.
With her using that verbiage and the other grooming stuff, again, what is the grooming?
You throw that out. The one thing she did
She
say...
keeps on doing this to try to like add a gotcha to it, like he's grooming.
The one thing she did say, that the two things she has said that would raise a flag for me is, if they're true,
Yeah.
is that he was drinking in his trailer on a set with children. That's a little sketchy, if it's true. And what she just mentioned, if he was like tickling little kids, that's also a little weird, if that's true. Like, I couldn't admit, I've had tons of friends with kids. I never tickle them. I mean, no, I mean, that's, if they're a baby, like, I'll hold the baby for a second. Or if we're playing with my kids and we're roughhousing in the yard with a ball or something, I'm not going to go, ooh, coochie coochie coo. I mean, that's.
I mean, when my nieces were babies, I did that. They were
your family,
tiny little babies.
It's different. Yeah.
Contradicts the letters really provided on defense's behalf. Something notable also is the defendant says that the victim's father very much encouraged the behavior to hug Mr. Busfield, and he felt uncomfortable, but he never told the dad to stop, that it's not, that we don't hug children, that we don't touch children. He never told that. He never said that.
He's probably writing, that's a lie.
Well, I mean, it's having
several witnesses were also interviewed.
Apparently, the father would direct the children to go hug not Uncle Tim, but go hug Timothy Busfield.
No, you say Uncle Tim because the kids called him Uncle Tim.
Yeah, and the kids
again, I would shut that shit down. I'm sorry.
Well, from what I've heard or read, that the kids were like, I'm not really feeling that, and the father's like, no, go give him a hug. Like, weird, but okay.
That shit's weird. I'm sorry. That's the.
It's all alleged.
That's the father causing a problem.
Yep.
Lauren Trujillo and Taylor Trujillo that also discussed that the kids weren't always supervised, and even the set teacher Lee Lewin, she also said that she was in the main room where there wasn't cameras, but that she confirmed the iPads and confirmed there was a lot of people around, but that people lose track. There's a lot going on in these sets.
People lose track. Okay.
I want to mention Danielle Vigil and Christina Carr because...
Which I disagree. All the film sets and all the reality television sets that I've been on, we've never had rambunctious kids running around. Even the actors. Because the kids were in their trailers. The kids were with their parents. Like, I never was on a set where the kids were running around like normal kids on a film set. Because it's like, no, you guys got to go to your trailer, and then once we're ready for you, we'll put you in wardrobe, we'll put you in makeup, we'll do whatever. But I never, because the student teacher's right there, and they have to be in school during the day.
Mm-hmm. Now, these Trujillo sisters that the plaintiff or the state is mentioning,
yeah, the
defense addresses that in their document and probably will address it in their counter argument here. But there's again some like, well, what they said couldn't be true because they weren't there, basically. But I'm sure.
So the same can be true for child actors on set. Parents of another child or children acting on the set responsive or reported. Is that the one you're talking about? The set environment included constant adult supervision, including parents, guardians, student teachers, and other production personnel. If it was not physical in the same room as a child, I was able to observe my child through the many monitors placed throughout the set. Monitors were accessible and openly visible through the set. With numerous adults around, we were encouraged to watch all the time. I never witnessed any opportunity for the children to be alone with somebody unsupervised. Yeah, there's a lot of lying going on, and again, if he is a shithead and he did these things, then the full extent of the law,
Yeah.
baby. But I see a bunch of shitheads lying. That's all I see so far.
Yeah, I think I can maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but speak for our show, whereas we are not casting judgment one way or the other, but both of us, our gut reaction is
Lying. There's some lying going on.
Something is
rotten. Fabrication.
Something's rotten in Denmark.
Now it seems like they're unhappy after they already gave a statement to police on how it was portrayed. The court knows that not everything in every interview is word for word in documentation. What is relevant to the allegations is what is usually in a criminal complaint arrest warrant. Especially this warrant was already quite lengthy. However, there is concerns that people have now got to those witnesses since speaking with police, and now they're writing affidavits on behalf of the defendant, suggesting that what they said wasn't true. So as for the dangerousness prong, State's Exhibit 2 shows that. Criminal sexual contact of a minor is a mandatory serious violent offense, which is different from necessarily dangerous, and here might not seem violent in the literal sense, but any deal of harm done to a child, especially when it comes to sexual abuse, the deal of physical harm, the emotional harm is long lasting. And that behavior when grooming children, engaging in grooming, engaging in sexual abuse.
We should have a counter, like a ding, every time she says that word.
Again, she's never defined the word grooming when it comes to this. She just keeps on saying it over and over so that people are like, oh, he's grooming people. Oh, it's bad. It's not good. She's not defining it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a legal strategy that the state's using to try to keep things a little, like the term I used earlier, nebulous at the beginning of the argument and then drill down into details. But it seems to me like it's kind of a waste of time. Speaking of a waste of time, I feel bad for those 3 cops back there. They just want some donuts.
Oh, yeah, no shit.
Like, shouldn't they be out there busting perps instead of hovering over Timothy Busfield? He's not going anywhere.
In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, it does not reflect Julio's opinion. It doesn't reflect anything.
It probably does, but yeah, go ahead.
Because this is a woman. She's handling it different than what a guy would handle it. Mm-hmm. I think a guy would basically say, okay, we're here to prove that Timothy Busfield did this to a kid.
Correct.
We're going to do this, that, this. We're going to define what this means. I'm going to have an expert that comes and does this. She has not once said any of that shit. Not once.
Which is why I would say, Timothy, having been in front of female and male judges during my divorce, I can tell you there's a difference. Females will...
She's going on emotion and
Correct.
keeps calling him a groomer and hasn't proved shit.
Exactly. Whereas male judges, as a rule, in my experience, they just want facts, and they'll throw everything else that isn't a fact out. Yeah. Like it doesn't count.
That's all she had to say is, we've got evidence this, we want to prove this, we want to prove this, we want to prove this. She has not said that one time. Not one time. It's, oh, they're groomers, and 5 years down the line, somebody said this. It's like...
So far, he drank on set, he was being accused of drinking on set and being accused...
With no proof. He was accused of grooming with no proof.
And tickling. Those are the only 2 things.
Okay. And hugging. He hugged somebody.
Well, I mean...
The state does have...
Yeah, this is a pretrial from yesterday.
Yes,
Scorpio.
When it comes to the defendant's history. And I want to make clear that nowhere in the case law and nowhere in 5409 or the F6 factors say that the defendant's history has to be charged criminal conduct. In fact, it can be unknown conduct at the time and what's presented to the court, which is laid out also in State's Exhibit 2 about prior allegations, and in State's Exhibit 3, 4.
And I would argue that
other-
the past times that he was accused isn't relative to this.
It may be relevant to...
I mean, yeah, knock his character to say that he's lying, but he was never guilty in those. There were accusations.
Yeah, well, the state's trying to prove again in this particular session that he should be in jail because he's a danger. So if there's other things surrounding this particular accusation that are similar, they can bring that to the court's attention and say, well,
Okay.
it's not these twins, but he had a couple allegations back in the day for the same shit. So, I mean, at least I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Victims and the victims that we already knew have reported previously have come forward and gave a statement as well.
Women shouldn't be lawyers. What do you think of that, Derek?
So the first allegation,
Agree.
a
judges.
17-year-old.
No, I don't. I disagree. But when you're not bringing any, like, this is what we're going to prove, this is what we want to do, this is what we're going to have, this is what we're going to. She hasn't done any of that stuff. All she's had is, well, he was drinking and he this and he hugged somebody and there's puppy dogs. Like what exact? Like, she hasn't defined what grooming was, and she said grooming like 6 times.
Well, that goes back to what you were saying, and I think what I was kind of getting at is that this is all emotion-based language and semantics.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of facts being put in here that are provable other than tickling and drinking in your trailer. And
Yeah, because she's the state. It's not like she's just maybe it's a civil case or maybe it's somebody that's suing bust. No, she's the state, and she hasn't done shit.
Having read the defense's response, well, didn't read the whole thing, but I mean, they're just like, I'm sure they're over there on their desk next to Timothy Busfield, just rubbing their hands like,
Yeah.
ooh, all right, put me in, coach, baby. I'm ready. Yeah.
Disclosed that the defendant had sexually assaulted her, tried to serve her alcohol, and groped her.
Sounds like my days as a
Unfortunately,
bartender.
at that time, what she reported is that the cops said that he wasn't going to be there much longer, and there was nothing that they could do. And there was later a civil suit filed in which the defendant later settled. That was back in 1994, and that victim was 17 years old at the time.
She's not very...
Something I want to know
doesn't
about
seem
the
very
kids'
confident.
disclosures and all
No.
of
Or
the
prepared.
disclosures that
No.
were made prior and have been made since. There's a pattern.
Yeah, you got that right, Scorpio.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that the last
all
live stream we did. Yep, for sure.
So we were
There's a
saying
pattern
earlier,
of
I
his
think before
conduct.
Scorpio, I'm like, why is he in cuffs and in jail just because somebody
Also,
said he did something
Yeah.
without
boys-
any proof?
Disclosures in this case, they were detailed. They were visceral. They were also not exaggerated, which I think cuts into defense's argument about what they think this case is.
Boy, she's not good.
I say
No,
that
she's
because
not good
I
at
think
all.
it is important
Important.
when we're filing PDMs on these types of cases.
Do you think it's possible that the state basically said, we're going to lose this, so we're just going to put one of our rookies on this?
Put this broad out there,
Yeah,
whatever.
She's not good. She's not said what the case is. It's just been like, well, we heard this, we heard this, we heard this, and then in 1985 he did this.
Yeah, I came into this not having watched this,
Yeah.
and I was open-minded, like, okay, give me a reason to think that this isn't all bullshit.
Yeah.
And if I'm not the jury, but she wouldn't convince me so far.
If this is a pre-trial, so this is pre-trial, I understand that. But if she brought this case in front of a jury, no.
But don't underestimate the
This
importance of this court session because they're trying to keep him in jail.
Yeah.
They're trying
And
to take away his freedom based on accusations, and she's not doing a good job of
Not at all.
building that case. That
No.
if we let this animal, Timothy Busfield, who clearly needs 3 jacked cops around him nonstop
Yeah, no
out into the
shit.
wild, he's just going to go on a grooming spree. So we need to make sure he's locked up.
Oh, this is what low salaries
Yeah.
get you. Is she's not very good.
Well, the defense does always have a bit of an advantage because defense lawyers are more expensive generally. They don't work for the government, whereas this lady, I would think, is a state lawyer.
Yeah,
So
she works for the state, and all she has to do is just lay out her case.
Yeah, she's a
We're gonna
governor.
prove this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna prove this. She hadn't done any of that stuff.
This Christopher Dodd fella and the woman Fayberg, I think her name Fayerberg, I think they're like high-powered shit. They're
gonna fucking. I haven't watched it. I watched about 20 minutes this first part. I haven't watched what the Busfield's lawyers, but I can guarantee the gloves are coming off.
Yeah, I mean, an analogy would be the OJ trial where the state had, was it Marsha Darden or Christopher Darden and Marsha Clark,
Yeah,
who were clearly outgunned by OJ's defense lawyers. He had every top Kardashian, all these amazing Shapiro lawyers.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that goes back to if you have money and can afford defense lawyers, the truth doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like OJ killed that woman, I think.
I think he did too.
Doesn't matter. He had enough money to pay lawyers that could talk the court.
But he admitted well after, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he did write a book that said, what was the title? If I did it, I would have done it like, it was some weird title. I'm like, dude, don't do that. And then he got thrown in jail for busting in some sports
Wasn't it like
memorabilia.
sports betting or like
Sports memorabilia. And apparently some guy had one of his jerseys and OJ's like, I'll go get that jersey back. And he just like busted in the door with a gun or some shit. He got, what a life.
If defense wants this court to
I'll be right back.
believe
Right.
that this is all about money, wouldn't it be easier for a child and all of these previous victims to disclose more than criminal sexual contact? It's shocking that all of the victims that have reported all report a similar pattern from the defendant, and they're not exaggerated, which makes the evidence in their disclosures credible. The second allegation occurred in March of 2012. It's my understanding that, and I believe this victim has called law enforcement as well, but essentially he had,
Is this one of your exhibits?
yes, it's in stage 2.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Stage
yeah,
two. Okay.
the last page of the arrest warrant, Your Honor. Or the second to last page. In March of 2012, a 28-year-old accused Busfield of touching her inappropriately in a movie theater. She reported to police, and the prosecutors felt like there was not enough evidence to move forward, and he said it was consensual. Again, that pattern of touching, of criminal sexual contact is important for the pattern of the defendant, especially when it comes to the F6 factors, which I will get to.
Okay. All right. So she's going to go into detail, which is good.
With the reports, even from the 2 victims I just spoke about, also shows that the defendant is dangerous, along with States Exhibit 3, 4, 5, and 6. Rachel Wright was that victim, the 17-year-old victim.
Okay.
That's what States Exhibit 3 is.
We talked about her the other day, right, Derek?
I think what's also notable is
17-year-old.
that she felt...
Yeah, she was at the theater. She worked at the theater.
Yeah. Apparently she was on a ladder and he was all
he was manipulating her
Looking at
her
under his
business or
chair
something.
or something.
throughout the process as well. States Exhibit 4. These victims reported soon after, but this had happened a long time ago. The victim in this case, and I believe this has been reported to APD, but I think has been reported to Sacramento PD as well.
think.
That victim was 16 years old at the time. She was working at B Street Theater, a theater in Sacramento that the defendant and his brother started. at
She's trying to
I
paint the
believe she
picture
was
that he's
interning
done
or
this before.
working there,
Yeah.
and the defendant again touched her, kissed her, and then stuck his hands down her pants, touching her genitals.
Oh, that's not good.
Their report is that the defendant's brother and the defendant came to talk to the victim and the victim's dad to not report it, and that he would get therapy, which the family.
Remember
agreed
yesterday
with.
or the other day we
Yeah.
the one guy's like, I'll punch him. I regret saying that that he should get therapy. Remember that?
Yeah, well, it was the girl's dad was like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have just let him go. I should have reported this to protect other children, which if this actually happened, he should have.
Yes.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
So
His bad.
Yeah.
So how is that negative on Tim Busfield if he didn't report it?
Well, if I recall correctly, nothing actually was proven on record that he
Yeah.
did anything wrong. So it's kind of hearsay,
Yeah.
right? Which I
A lot of these, and again, he could be the biggest shithead. We don't know this. He could be all these things, but when there's no proof, there's nothing.
Yep.
And then he's like, "Oh, we'll just give him some puppy dogs and some therapy, and everything will be okay."
Yeah, the state has the burden of proof. They have
Yes,
to prove
if
beyond
that's
a
my
reasonable
daughter,
doubt.
you're either getting the fist or you're going to jail. One of the two.
That's correct.
And then I might go to jail for punching your ass anyway.
Right.
I'm sorry. There's no quarter. There's no like. You know what? I'm just gonna be easy on him. Oh no. You see this girl right here? If a hair is out of place on this girl, you're getting socked.
Mm-hmm. But I
And
get
then
why.
I might go to jail for kicking your ass.
You're right. I'll be in jail right next to you.
Yeah.
But what she's trying to do, I kind of get, is she's trying to paint a picture that this isn't the first time he's been accused of something similar. So I get why she's doing it.
Yeah.
And nothing went further in that case. State's Exhibit 5 is from the defendant and his wife's personal assistant. They worked, I believe, through the May of 2017 until 2019. And she mostly describes how the defendant was inappropriate, intimidating, that there was a lot of, this position of authority that we've kind of seen play out in this case and all of the other victims that have come forward.
But he was in a position of authority, so.
And had made comments to her.
The power
about
dynamic is the reason.
Oh, yeah.
the way she acted.
That's
and
a
that
woman
he
thinking.
Might have a crush on
Yeah.
her. If she
Women think like that.
It's the feminization of the legal system.
So there was
Yes, it
concerns
is.
of inappropriate conduct with her as well.
They should give these cops stools to sit on her. I feel bad for them.
State 6, Claudia.
If you ask the three officers that are standing there, and you talk about power dynamics, they're going to be like, "I don't give a shit. Did you break the law?
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, Derek. Now that I think about it, look at
Did
the
you break
power.
the law? Play. That's it.
Well, yeah. But also look at the power dynamic in this room.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, those
Big
boys
dudes, man.
They're fucking huge, guns everywhere.
The guy
The
on
cops
the right looks like Gunther.
He's massive.
Yeah,
The guy on the left, fucking massive too.
yeah,
like,
he
are
is.
they really
It's a
worried
big
that
boy.
68-year-old Timothy Busfield's gonna rush the
Yeah,
judge?
one of the guys, let alone three of the guys with guns. Okay,
Get it? It's
That's
so
okay.
dumb. It's like just it's ridiculous.
Who is an actress. She has reported that when they were filming The Strays, the defendant and her, she was already casted as an actress, and
Cast.
during the show they were
This
running
lady's
lines,
retarded.
which was common, and they went to his trailer. She stated that once she got there, he was alone, and almost immediately after she entered his trailer, he forcibly grabbed her and threw her against the wall, and started kissing her, and he had an erection. And she ended up running out and telling I believe, assistant director to keep her away from Mr. Busfield,
Well, she went to his trailer though, right?
Yes.
which those allegations also go to the defendant's dangerousness. So I think by clear and convincing evidence, the state has met the dangerousness prong here in this case.
How about no?
Not only because that people are coming forward and reporting this.
She went to his trailer, and
That's
it
what I'm-
doesn't give him the immediate authority to do whatever he was doing. But she went to his trailer. If you wanted to run lines with him, then talk to the fucking AD and say, "Hey, can you ask them if they want to run lines? We'll meet right over here."
Right. And the other thing is, if she's like, well, could you please keep Mr. Busfield away from me? My first response would be, well, step one, don't go to his trailer. That's why I would suggest that first and foremost. Just don't go seek him out and then see. You don't have to, whatever. I mean, this is a weak ass presentation in my opinion. And I'm not saying I think Timothy Busfield is innocent.
It's innocent.
Either
Yeah,
way.
it's weak for the state. It's fucking weak, dude. Like this girl, it's like her first fucking court case.
But the way they're reporting how the pattern is consistent and the power that the defendant has had over all of these victims and the position.
The power bottom. I mean, the power dynamic.
When it comes to conditions of release, the court focuses on the F6 factors. The first factor,
Your vodka.
the nature and circumstances of the offense charged, and whether that offense is a crime of violence, which the state has gone through and argues that we have met that. The nature and circumstances of the offense charged, and that this is a crime of violence. The weight of evidence against defense. It's still the state's position that the evidence is strong. The boys' allegations are supported by medical findings and by their therapist. And again, their accounts were specific and not exaggerated.
Well,
I disagree 100%. She hasn't fucking proved anything. She hasn't said anything that I was like, oh shit, okay. Timothy Busfield and be fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been one specific that she has mentioned that has made me go, ooh.
Power
that's
dynamic. She used that like 3 times.
Alleged
tickling, grooming. She used that like 5 times, but she never defined any of them at all.
Nope.
I want to touch on this a little bit more.
Yeah,
due to
the
defendant's
case is weak as
violence.
fuck, dude. So
Like
weak.
it.
Defense, first couple exhibits are about the victim's parents and their criminal history, essentially saying they have a motive to lie because they have a past, because they have had a conviction and had some other lawsuits.
Both of them.
Okay, my parents haven't had any of those.
Mine neither, I don't think, anyway. My dad might have. I don't know.
Your mom was badass back in the day.
She was. No convictions on Mama Scissors. She's clean.
The parents aren't the victims in this case. The parents are not the ones making these allegations. The kids didn't even disclose to their parents.
Didn't?
They disclosed to a neutral third party, 2 of them, their therapist and a doctor. To believe, well, first, during criminal proceedings, there is no money attached.
Why would you think that a 7 or 8-year-old kid would need a therapist who's not been through anything? Assuming that Timothy Busfield didn't do anything, they were on set. Why would you think that they would need a therapist? And number 2, an 8 or 9-year-old kid is not going to take going to a therapist seriously. Not at all.
No, when I was a young lad in elementary school, I was accused of being hyperactive, which I was. And my mom, they suggested to my mom that, oh, you should take him to a therapist. My mom was like, He just needs to calm the fuck down is what we need to do. And she was right.
Gangster scissors right there.
I grew out of it. I'm like, whatever. Kids have little quirks when they're younger, and then they grow out of it.
I'm just saying, am I wrong with that? A little kid is not going to take it seriously.
No, they can't process the work that's done in therapy.
Yes,
because they're 7 and 8. They don't.
Because if they say, well, you met with Tim today, and it's like, oh yeah, I really like Tim. We call him Uncle Tim, and then it's like, did he touch you or anything? No, I mean, he hugged me goodbye when we were about to leave, and then he said, good job.
Yeah, the only therapist a 7 or 8-year-old should have are their parents.
Yes.
And if they're being sent to therapy and the therapist is giving these young children something that their parents aren't, then they're probably going to lean with the therapist, the kids, as like as a authority figure. And believe me, the only people that are crazier than crazy people are therapists.
Yeah.
There's some nutty ass psychiatrists out there, man. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. But there's some great ones. So yeah,
it can be helpful.
They don't get
even
money
the nutty ones.
at the end.
I just don't think the little kids will understand the heaviness of what they say may cause somebody to get arrested.
Mm-hmm. No,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that they don't understand other than their world that their parents create for them. They don't know anything outside of that. So it's like to sit there and be like, well, 8-year-old kid said he was touched and he dropped it like it's hot and all this other stuff. And it's just like, the kid probably has no idea like what actually happened, if anything.
He thinks a fat guy comes down the chimney on December 25th. I mean, believe a lot. Oh, what's up, Doc?
Oh, so you're not getting notifications from us? That sucks, dude. Good old YouTubes. Good old YouTubes.
So, Doc, to catch up, we're looking at the Timothy Busfield child abuse charges, and we've been watching the state try to plead their case.
And it's not been good.
Keeping him in jail, and so far the state's not doing a very good job. This chick is it's not so good. She looks like she may have stayed up a little too late last night drinking wine or something. She needed to do more prep.
I posted the first one today, Doc. So yeah, I posted the first one today. And then I also post it in the YouTube, what is it, notes or something? Like a YouTube post, kind of. It's like a Facebook post.
Oh yeah, I've seen those popping up nowadays. Yeah,
I'll post it in there too, so that if somebody's subscribed but they're not paying attention, it's like, oh, the guys are going on live today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like a YouTube tweet almost.
So yeah, I'll keep doing that, Doc. I did that first one today.
For a victim to go through this is not an easy process at all. Defense makes allegations about how much the kids were acting, which is they're quite a bit off, but yes, they were making money for working.
Okay.
And what makes more sense is because they weren't with Mr. Busfield anymore, is to continue to get acting jobs if they were about money. Not to come through the criminal justice system, because it's not guaranteed. Neither is a civil case, and there's no civil case that has been filed.
Okay, so she's wrong on that, because Hollywood is all about victimhood. You're going to sit there and tell me that the parents wouldn't have used the victimhood stuff with their children as sort of like social currency? You got to be out of your freaking mind, lady.
That's, again, something you can't really prove, but that crossed my mind as well. If the children were being led by their parents.
Our channel exists because of that. Yep. So this lady is out of touch, and her fucking case sucks.
Sometimes, actually, the fact that we're not lawyers can be a positive, because I have watched some LawTube videos covering cases, and they get so deep down in the legal weeds that it becomes like we're looking at this from people who have been around the block a little bit.
Yeah.
With gut checks and reactions, not like, well, actually, Article 2, Section 5 point. It's like, shut up. It's like,
I have a huge bullshit detector, and we talked about this before. I can scope out a fucking bullshitter from a mile away.
Yep.
by the parents at this time. I think that argument doesn't make a whole lot of sense when looking at the facts and what we're hearing.
What facts? You haven't presented
We're
any
hearing about
facts.
what the kids are disclosing, what the crime charge is.
Not really.
And if there's conditions that the court can set.
That defense
Not about
team
the
is like
parents'
a couple of
history.
vultures back there.
Oh,
just
God,
waiting.
yeah. They're just
What
like,
they're saying is that anybody
Come on,
that has
bitch.
a criminal
Let's
history
go.
can never be a victim.
She's like a
because they're
high
going to
school
lie.
girls softball pitcher, and the defense is like,
exactly.
But
They're
this is
like
about the
they're like
parents'
the
history.
Big
This is
Ten
about the defendant
champions.
And the
Yeah.
defendant's
You know what I mean?
history and why he won't comply with conditions or release.
but again, she's a government employee, and the other two, the defense lawyers, are not. They're private sector people
Yeah.
and raging liberals,
Yes.
but whatever.
With regards to the parents, there's reference to the parents having an attorney, and the attorney gave them the advice to seek out medical intervention in this case. Has there been a lawsuit filed, or is there plans to file a companion civil lawsuit?
It's my understanding that they are not filing a civil lawsuit.
Okay.
The attorney they talked to about what to do was a friend of the families. I believe one of their employers, actually. What do we do in this circumstance? It was more as friendly advice, not let's start this civil lawsuit and then,
That part wasn't clear.
Yes.
That it was a
Yes.
plan. Okay.
I wanted to make that clear. And there is no civil lawsuit filed.
Okay.
Yet.
Well, the twins' father is a convicted lawyer. He was disbarred. Like
Yeah.
it's just everything is all, and
Everything stinks.
everything just stinks.
I think what
Stinks
is
on
also
ice.
important when it comes to the
And again,
weight of
he could be a
evidence
complete
against the
shithead and
defendant.
did everything.
Yes.
But when the state literally doesn't
Corroborating
have
evidence.
anything,
that the defendant.
Yes, we're not commenting on his innocence
Once
or
the
guilt.
defendant
We're just
started
commenting
Yes.
on the
using
process.
but the state didn't
That's
get it.
when
They haven't brought anything.
Nah, she sucks.
She
Chick
sucks.
That there's been bedwetting nightmares. That other witnesses have also seen. a
Bedwetting
big
at 10 years old, 11 years old.
shift Despite defendants' affidavits, there are still witnesses.
I literally had cancer. I literally almost died, and I don't think I ever wet the bed. And I literally was getting pumped like medication, like 20 pills a day.
Yep.
This person, somebody hugs him and he's having bedwetting. Like, come on.
That is a sign of a psychological issue with children,
Yes.
like bedwetting or extended thumb sucking into 7 or 8 years old and stuff. That means there's something going on, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's because of him.
Yeah.
It could be
Correct.
because of the parents. It could have been, who knows?
Could have been a bunch of things. Yeah,
You can't fuck up as a parent and blame somebody
Say,
else.
exactly.
No, these kids, SL particularly, had a change in behavior after Mr. Busfield started directing him. I know I stated this, but I do want to make this clear because so many of the affidavits and so many of the letters of support say this could not happen because there were so many people around. The kids didn't say it happened when they were alone. And we see every day that sexual abuse with children can happen in front of several people. We know that from well-known cases. We know that from the Larry Nassar case, where he was physically and sexually abusing his patients in front of their parents. We know that these events and these crimes can happen in front of other people and them not recognize or see what is going on. The history and characteristic of the defendant, like I said, there's nowhere in the rule that says there has to be known criminal convictions, but a history.
I just wanted to
As
read
I
this real
laid
quick
out.
on the what we looked at earlier. When working with the director, I am 100% of the time, every decision the director makes affects what I do and requires that I coordinate another 50 people. Director of photography. The assistant director is similarly attached to the director. However, the director goes, the assistant director and the director of photography also go. If the director was stand up and talked into another room, myself and others would have all walked with him. I am the director's side for the entire filming of the show, and the first assistant director is at the director's other side. Furthermore, if any of the production assistants on set see that the director walking off somewhere by themselves, they get out of their walkie-talkies and inform the first assistant director. Yes, I've been in that world. I've done that. Literally, as the director goes to the bathroom, someone is assigned to walk with him to and from. I've been outside of the bathroom of a director or an actor that had to go to the bathroom, waiting for them so that I could be like, okay, he's on his way. I have been in that world. I have done that. And all of this stuff stinks because I've been on sets.
You've been on a set and did a movie, wrote, directed The Warrior, which you can find on YouTube, Amazon, and all that good stuff. And you had a child actor, a few.
Yeah. I had two main ones, and then I had one day that there was 7.
The bullies were kids, weren't they? But if I were to write and direct a movie, after all this, I don't think I'd ever have children in my movie, ever. Or women, for that matter. It'd just be all dudes, like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like just a whole bunch of guys.
But anyway, I just wanted to read that because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
The pattern, the reliability of how almost all of the reports of sexual abuse against the defendant are all very similar.
And I can explain to you the day that I had 7 kids in a school, okay? We had a scene or two that were outside with the and you've seen The Warrior, with the mom pulling up with the car, and then they're holding on to Derek's legs trying to pull him out of the car. And the teacher comes over and says something. We shot that, okay? Mm-hmm. Then once we shot that, we went inside and we shot all the stuff inside of the classroom. And then while we were setting up for the classroom stuff, I had the director photographer go into the car with the people that played my parents so that we could shoot 1 or 2 of the scenes of them inside the car. So it was literally like, we did this. Okay, start setting this up. Okay, you kids and everybody needs to go over there, shoot with the cinematographer. And then once you guys come back, we're going to shoot into this. It's literally bang, bang, bang. You don't have time. You have a fucking day to make.
Yeah. Well, plus I would also to your point, you're also not a weirdo. Whereas I'm sure if you're a director who's a weirdo, you'd probably make time.
I mean, maybe, but I'm just saying there's not much time, and I've been on plenty of sets with different characters and different people that like different things and all this other stuff, and it's always been spot on. There's never been like kids running around crazy. It's never been like that. Never been like that. So it's like, and I have a lot of positive things to say that when I worked in California and Hollywood, and I have some negative things to say about it. But there's certain things where it didn't fucking happen because I was fucking there. I saw it from my own 2 eyes.
You would think that if any state in the union knows how a movie set works, it would be California.
Yes.
So they probably know the pace of things. And
I could be wrong. Isn't New Mexico the state that had the shooting with one of our favorite actors? The Rust shooting?
Alec Baldwin?
Wasn't that in New Mexico?
I think you're right. I think it was either New Mexico. Yeah, I think you're right.
Rust shooting.
It was one of those states.
Yep, New Mexico.
New Mexico, okay.
Bonanza City, New Mexico. So, sorry that New Mexico has a bad reputation when it comes to filmmaking.
Exaggerated. That his history spans back 30 years, back to the 1990s. And this characteristic of the defendant, the state would argue, possesses a high risk, a very high risk of offense.
And also a lot of times, okay, so if you have an actor on set, okay, they need 12 hours before they are allowed to come back to set per SAG rules.
Oh.
So it behooves you as a director, as a producer, as an AD, to get people in and get people the fuck out. Because they need 12 hours before they're allowed to go back on set.
So you're saying if call is at 4 a.m. for makeup, they have to be out the door
By 4
in
p.m.
the afternoon the day before?
That's correct. Because they need 12 hours.
Okay.
There's a little bit of wiggle room, but it's one of those, like, you better have a damn good excuse why they're not getting their 12 hours.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a damn good excuse, because that's per SAG. So again, these abuse charges or allegations would have had to happen when the time that the kids were on set, which is the 12 hours, because they're not allowed to come back on set until 12 hours after they wrap. Mm-hmm. So for the kids milling around, no. I'm a director. I want these kids the fuck out of here, because we need to use them tomorrow and they need their 12 hours. So it's like there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to a film set, and some of these are just, it's not lining up, because the person that's bringing on the case is not a film person. She doesn't know how the fucking set works. And again, it's not defending Timothy Busfield. It's I know set life. I know it like the back of my fucking hand.
Well, were I the defense, and if this goes to trial, which it probably will, the jurors aren't going to know shit about films.
Yeah,
either.
They're not going to know film life. And
but if I'm the defense lawyer, I'm getting an expert witness in to explain the kind of things.
I'm pulling the AD in. I'm pulling the producer. I'm pulling other actors. I'm pulling anybody and anybody. I'm pulling the student teacher. Oh yeah.
Because either people are going to continue to ignore it, and they're going to continue to believe that the defendant could never do anything like this. And that he would never do something like this, which I'll get to his letters in a moment. I think what's also important to note is the defendant's testing that he did, this ABLE testing. When it really comes to risk assessment of offenders, which that
she's kind of rambling.
Really has nothing to do with
like
risk
land the
assessment,
plane,
which
girl.
would be more appropriate for this hearing when the court's considering conditions of release. Really has to do with if he's at risk.
And he took a lie detector before going there, which they're going to try to use it against him, saying, well, if he didn't have anything to hide, then why is he taking a lie detector?
Well, he passed.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can, that's not admissible in court. I don't think those lie detectors.
I don't think so either.
So it's really, in the end, they'll just throw that out. It's like,
in the 90s. And the behavior hasn't stopped. In fact, it's continued, as we see in these reports and other allegations, and he's continued to get away with them. And so the ongoing risk of the defendant reoffending or continuing.
I think it's time to cut her off now,
because
she just keeps saying the same shit.
Well, now she's saying like he continues to get away with it. Like away with what? He hasn't been convicted of anything. It's just conjecture.
To actually discuss the facts of this case or the cases.
Okay, so this is almost defense time.
And this case is no different.
Yeah,
and
let's hear her wrap up.
That there are no conditions that this court can set for this defendant and defendants similar in his position. I think I've addressed F6E, the factors to indicate if he may or may not commit new crimes. I think his history speaks for himself. I think his position and how he wants to control.
Yeah, her evidence is the kids said something to the kid said something to a professional. The professional went to a cop, went to a detective. And his past. That's their evidence.
And there's two key witnesses named the Trujillo sisters who are claiming they saw something.
Yeah.
Briefly, I do want to just discuss the ABLE. Can you tell me the time?
Yeah, you've got 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up.
When it comes to
30.
the ABLE
Yep.
that defense has provided.
That's a film set thing. Wrap that shit up. Stretch it out.
They start playing the orchestra
Fucking
behind
wrap it.
like in the Oscar awards.
Although
Shut the fuck up. Wrap that shit.
Give less weight to because we don't have raw data. Defendant didn't provide us with that. And the polygraph does not address what this hearing is about. Those questions had nothing to do with if he was going to apply with conditions of release. And a PDM hearing isn't really for a mini
Okay,
trial to
well, that's smart.
decide the truth about what happened in this case.
She's like lie detector
So I
schmector.
would
Who
ask
cares?
that the court
Yeah,
give only
Schmector.
weight into the
Which was
polygraph,
smart of her. She's like, it
and
doesn't count.
also
Who
how
cares?
that was conducted and when, and what that really shows about conditions of release. When it comes to the ABLE testing that was also done before he turned himself in, really this is to show, it does not show anything about their risk. It shows if they are sexually
Whose risk?
interested in a certain type.
They.
And
Who's
essentially,
they?
It's
She
they're looking
sucks,
at a
dude.
computer
God
screen of
dang, she
photos.
sucks.
It's
Who's
very
they?
subjective. It depends on the questionnaire that was presented before, which the state does not have, and it's also
They're getting their spears.
there's
Yeah.
not-
Oh, yeah. They're
Sharpened.
sharpening their swords. Yeah.
Or the swords are getting sharpened.
So I don't know who does the
It doesn't
presentation.
So they're fucking yanking.
Here in this case, it's really a risk factor.
I don't know
Sex offender.
who does
And if
the
he's claiming
presentation
he's
for
not
the
a sex
defense.
offender, I'm
Would you put
unsure
up the
why
woman
people,
or the guy in front of this judge?
Well, if you
testing has anything to do with this.
if
even
you
to
think
show
that the
he
guy
was
is
not,
ruthless, like you said earlier, when one of the cases that he took,
Oh, yeah.
oh, the guy's going up first.
He got John Jones, the UFC guy, off of all charges,
I
and
think
John
what is
Jones is the
important
most guilty motherfucker
here
in the world.
is
Yeah, this
not
guy's probably a
necessarily
liberal asshole, but you want
Oh,
him
yeah.
on your
about
team.
what the ABLE
Hell
test
yeah,
provides,
that's right.
but that the defendant had an
You want this guy?
opportunity
Okay, so here's
doesn't
something
matter.
that's a little different type question. Would you rather have a conservative attorney, or would you rather have a liberal attorney on your side?
I would probably want a liberal attorney because they're good at lying if they need to.
I would have to agree with you. I think the conservative would be a little bit too by the book,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
the liberals would be able to not skirt around the law, but I think they would be able to look at angles different. Like
Yeah.
if we do it this way, or we do it this way, we do it this way.
Yeah, they're a little smarmier. Which
Yes, I
could
think
come
I
in
would
handy
want a liberal attorney over a conservative one,
because
even
all
though
a court case comes
equally
down to.
Derek, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But all a court case comes down to, and this is a good example, is somebody's lying.
Yeah.
So who's lying? And if you have a lawyer on your side that's adept at lying, that would be a plus in a case where lying is what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, that's true.
Not lying to the court,
he's
but
attracted to.
detecting a lie.
We
It
know
takes a
that
thief to know a thief,
All
that kind of
different
thing.
types of sex offenders prey on different.
No, this dude looks like he's ready to
demographics of
fucking
people.
get on it.
It doesn't have
Well,
to
you'd be on
children.
my
They
team,
don't-
no
they
doubt.
do not have to be a pedophile
Yep.
for this to happen. It's the opportunity that the defendant had.
He's looking at
and
this
has had over these last
State
30
lawyer
years.
like I looked at my
And
wife's
with the time,
wife's divorce lawyer,
that he
sitting
had
there
with
looking
these
like,
victims
really?
in this case.
Yeah, no matter what he does, whatever facial expression he does, somebody's going to take it and run with it. Well, see, he's salivating. He enjoys this.
Oh, that's
Or,
so
oh, he's about to cry. You know what I mean? Like, these people.
yeah. Well, he moved his eye like a
briefly,
millimeter
I
to
want
the
to
left, and
address
that
that.
shut up.
Attack on-
Everybody's a
on
fucking expert. We're not
witnesses'
experts. We're just
characteristics
spitballing here.
don't
Yeah, we're idea guys. We're idea guys.
of the defendant.
But yes, we're ideal guys, but I also live this fucking life, and I know the set like a back of my fucking hand.
So yeah, you're informed at least. I have. I'm just.
I can
Going
go.
on
I can
gut.
go up there and be an expert.
Yeah.
And most important,
I've been
when
on.
it
I've
comes
been
to
on
conditions of release,
20 to 25 film
but this
sets.
court
I've been on
can't
20 to
set
25
any conditions that is gonna
reality
protect
sets, including my own.
any other child,
I
any
would
other
consider
victim,
myself an expert.
any other witness.
If it were
from
up to me, this
reporting
case would last 2
or,
seconds. I don't think he.
continuing
This is my
reporting.
opinion. I don't think he's guilty of what they're charging him.
The court can't set.
Did
They
he
don't
look-
have. They don't have proof. If they had pictures and they had all this other stuff, then it's like, oh,
There's no
dude, these
way
guys fuck. They
anyone
don't
Did he
have
get-
any of that stuff.
Is it possible he once got an
And what we know
erection
is
over a
that
hot
he has a
17-year-old? Maybe.
And that's
Very
what the court
possible.
should consider
Maybe. You
is
can't
the
throw him in jail
facts,
for that.
Not all the speculation that the defense has provided for their argument that has nothing to do with conditions of release. Thank you, Your Honor. I'll save my last couple minutes for rebuttal.
Especially after looking at Melissa Gilbert's 60-year-old mug for the, you know. Speaking of which, look at that, right on cue.
She
Nailed
just looks
it.
like old granny.
Yeah, she looks. I can't hate on her. She looks dressed all Little House on the Prairie, all conservative. Was she ever hot?
What was that?
Was she ever hot, Melissa Gilbert?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is it?
First,
Is it something to think about because she was a child star? He is in trouble with child stars. I mean, is there any parallel? Is there anything?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I hadn't thought of that, but you.
I'd like to let the court know we've supplied a binder for the court that has all of the exhibits and everything.
What's up?
in it.
Here comes fucking Babe Ruth.
Yellow
Oh
binder.
yeah, he's gonna fucking torch it, guaranteed.
Secondly, I'd like to apologize for consuming what I imagine was a lot of the court's time this long
It's
weekend.
okay.
He's apologizing for that broad already. Sorry, she couldn't shut
So
up.
I'd like to tell the court how we intend to structure our hour in this case. I'm going to give some brief introductory remarks, followed by one
See?
witness.
See?
And then Ms. Fairberg will take over for argumentation.
Okay. Double teaming.
I would ask at this time that the court
Did he or did he not do exactly what I said that the girl should have done?
Yes.
This is what we're accusing him of. This is what we're going to do. This is where we want to go. These are the things that we have that we think that he is a danger to society.
Correct. And I do have a little experience in speaking to important people. Like in my job, I talk to hospital administrators, COOs. When you present a presentation, you start high level.
Yeah.
And then you have the data to go down in the weeds if you need to, but you don't start with the weeds. And
Yeah.
then you go down until they're happy, and then you're done. So
Yeah.
he's setting up a framework for what he's about to say,
Yeah.
which is,
What she should have done.
I agree, because
Or
she
the
kind of
state-
just
the
jumped
state
in the
should
middle
have.
of it all, and she was saying shit like important, which is a
Yeah.
fucking pet peeve of mine. Why can't women speak right anymore? I don't know.
Valentine's Day.
Even the president's press secretary with what's her name? Catherine Levitt, you know, that blonde girl that speaks for the president at the press conferences.
Oh yeah.
She does the same shit. She's like, important. I'm like, come on. Fuck's sake.
Important.
Yeah, that's right, Doc. That's right. Exactly. I mean, he's fucking, you can tell already. He's like, I prepped for this shit. Let's go. And then he goes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for all the
Get to
time
the
that was
point.
wasted with her.
Like, I agree with you, Doc. Get to the fucking point.
Yep.
We're here because we think this, and this, and we're going to prove this, and this.
That's it. Like we say in the music business, Derek, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
accept defendant's exhibits A through BB
Yep, they're all admitted.
as reliable. Thank you. Ms. Brandenburg just referred to this mountain of evidence that the court has before it as speculative. This is not speculative. What the court has before it is, I would estimate, probably the most comprehensive response to a motion for pretrial detention that has ever been filed in this state.
Ever.
And it
He's
was
like Trump.
amassed in 7 days. 7 days. And that's the evidence that we were able to put together. Every aspect of the state's case is flawed. Every aspect of the state's case is questionable.
The defense does have the advantage of being the last up.
I don't need to tell the
Baseball
court this,
term.
but my client is presumed innocent.
Of course.
As he sits here today, he is an innocent man,
Right.
and I have significant concerns about the prosecution talking as if he has already been convicted.
All right.
Groomer. Groomer.
Yeah.
Groomer.
Referred to the people who wrote letters of support. She said, quote, "They don't believe when victims come forward." It's our legal system that starts from the position of saying, we don't believe. It must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Go on, son.
The question before the court today is the court going to hold Mr. Busfield in custody pending the trial in this matter, if we ever get that far? There has not yet been an indictment. We have not received a target notice.
It's going to grand jury, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay.
We have not received a target notice.
He's like, I didn't say that.
Date for that yet?
I do, but if the court wants it, I'd ask for it to be in private. to
Okay.
Comply.
Okay.
I
The
mean,
state's already-
it's one of those things where it's like, well, it's in grand jury and we'll have it by Friday. The state is the one that is bringing the charges up, and they're the ones that have to bring a case. Why do you have to wait for anything? The state should have all their fucking ducks in a row and saying, boom, this is what we're looking at. Bang.
They probably need some time to respond to whatever the defense is, I would think. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
Arguments are based on a fallacy. Their fallacy is heads we win, tails you lose. You don't bring any evidence
Classic.
to pretrial detention hearings, you're dangerous. We're going to detain you. You bring a bunch of evidence, that's how powerful he is. That's how terrible he is. We detain him. That's their argument here today. I want to compare the state's presentation of evidence with the defense presentation of evidence. 6 exhibits. 6 exhibits. That's what the state has brought.
right.
They've brought Odyssey printouts, and then really the meat of their case is a criminal complaint and several police reports, all authored by the same person, Detective Brown, the person who was in charge of this investigation.
He's
And as we make clear in our papers, there are significant concerns about what Mr. Brown, or Detective Brown, includes in his reports and doesn't include.
Well, in those police reports, it's literally just a phone call, right? To the police station that basically handled it, and he gets all the files for.
bro. You can get a police report for anything.
Yeah.
It's not. I think what
It's not like he had to do anything other than just phone call.
he's saying that every single police report they're bringing up as evidence was written out by the same detective, which I'm not sure is here or there, but he's introducing a character into his narrative. As a lawyer, this guy, I think he knows, just based on his dramatic pauses and the way he's telling a story, it's part acting and it's part storytelling.
Okay.
So he's
Agree.
introducing Detective Brown as a character in the story he's about to tell. I don't know. Fuck do I know?
During argument, stated that, oh, well, only what's relevant goes into the criminal complaint. And Ms. Fairbrigg is going to play this for the court later, but when the children were first talked to by the police in this case,
The 2 audio clips.
correct,
Thank you for sending those. I did listen to those.
great. As the court is well aware then, it wasn't simply that the children did not disclose sexual abuse. They flat out denied it. They said, no, it didn't happen. The fact is that the criminal complaint in this case is slanted. It is slanted to bolster the state's case and omit exculpatory evidence.
I don't care if this guy's Hitler. I want him on my defense team. He's good.
Just a quick thing right here. Okay, so this is a criminal complaint for the example state of Kristen Carr, that she was hesitant to speak to police, that she did not have a personal knowledge of the offer, but this is not an accurate, complete portrayal of detective's conversation with Mrs. Carr. I think Mrs. Carr is the student teacher, right?
That I'm not sure. I don't know that. I didn't read that part of it.
SL.
Control F. What is it? KRR?
Yeah.
Kristen Carr, she did submit an affidavit.
And it says, Mrs. Carr explained the manner of which the detective omission changed the nature of her statement. The detective makes it seem like I was unwilling or reluctant to speak with him. Oh, it's the late. Remember the. I think it was the student teacher.
Okay.
Because remember the one lawyer made a face at the beginning where they're like, well, she was very reluctant to talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's her, Mrs. Carr.
Okay.
The truth caught me off guard and didn't explain the purpose for this call. He quickly told me that I seemed hesitant and that other crew members were hesitant due to fear of retaliation. I never expressed that I was fearful of retaliation. I answered him honestly and told him that I never saw any inappropriate behavior by Mr. Busfield. The detective omitted from the original criminal complaint a great deal of information that I provided him. He asked me about the presence of a set teacher. I informed him that the set teacher absolutely never left the boys unsupervised. Okay. He also asked if the kids were ever alone in the set room with Mr. Busfield, and I told him no, that there were always 20 to 30 people in the room when he were between takes and setups. I am concerned that the detective omitted these crucial information from his criminal complaint. Ooh. That's probably going to be brought up too.
Kristen Carr was the hairstylist.
Oh, the hairstylist. Okay.
That's I just looked that up. Said yes.
And the hairstylist sees all of the actors every single day and does touch-ups.
Right, and Busfield gave the court a list of potential witnesses for.
And Busfield doesn't have very much hair, so they probably had a quick job with him.
Yeah, it's easy for them, right? No, Busfield's legal team named a number of the cleaning lady cast and crew as potential witnesses for the case, including hairstylist Kristen Carr, cinematographer Alan Caudillo, an actress named Deborah Toner, another hairstylist, and Melissa Gilbert.
I wonder. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what anything to do with it. I mean, you got if she's character reference, you got to not a wife. We'll throw that right out.
The evidence that we brought to court, the evidence favoring Mr. Busfield, cannot be used in the way the state is claiming. Oh, somehow bringing evidence should be weighing in their favor. And the court cannot indulge this kind of argument. Evidence favoring Mr. Busfield can only be interpreted one way, in his favor. It would turn our justice system upside down to say that if somebody defends themselves, it must mean that they are dangerous. It must mean that we should hold them in custody, because the ultimate result is that every single person would be held. The last thing that I want to talk about in my opening is this self-surrender process. Ms. Brandenburg said that it was 5 days. It was 3.5 days, Friday evening to Tuesday morning. All actions that Mr. Busfield took during that time were at my direction to mount a defense. I tried to negotiate with the district attorney's office. I told them, he's coming here, he'll come here. We do not need to go through a month or 2 month long extradition process. He'll be here. And they told me, you can do whatever you want. We're not going to do a thing. So I brought him here. He drove 2,000 miles in 2 days.
That's kind of
2
crazy.
days.
Yeah.
And then we spent one afternoon doing a psychosexual risk assessment, and one morning doing a polygraph. And then we self-surrendered at MDC. I think that shows how seriously Mr. Busfield takes this case. It shows he is ready to fight this case, and he is going to fight this case, and he is going to do it with respect for the law. An arrest warrant is not an order to a
I mean, if Busfield immediately said, "Screw all of you, I'm not going," then I would not be. I'd be like, "Fuck that guy, get him and fucking put his ass in jail for the rest of his life."
Yeah. On the other
But
hand, though,
he didn't.
no. But on the other hand, you could say like if I'm accused of murder and all these, and I go, "Well, yeah, Your Honor. I mean, I know I'm accused of murder and this, that, and the other thing, but I turn myself in. Don't I get brownie points for that?" It's like, no, you don't. You're supposed to do that. Which you
I don't know. We see a lot of people not doing that.
Well, that's stupid people not doing that.
defendant. An arrest warrant is an order to the police. But my client, knowing that the police were ordered to arrest him, wanted to confront these allegations. So, Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to call our first witness, our only witness. And then Ms. Fairberg will make an argument. And so at this time, the defense calls Alan Cardio.
Cinematographer.
Right. All right. So we got some witnesses up there. Okay. And believe me, this dude is coached up.
Oh, he
as a
probably
lawyer.
is. Oh, for sure.
He knows exactly what he's going to get asked.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Sorry, do you swear to affirm that the testimony you give is the truth?
He's got a 6 suit. What's up, homie?
I do. Thank you. Please have a seat. Have you testified before? I haven't. Okay.
He
everything's
probably
being
makes a
recorded
couple
as
$1,000 a
so
day
just be
as
sure
a
to-
cinematographer.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The attorneys are set.
Still a nerve
The
wracking
attorneys are gonna ask you some questions.
experience being on the
Okay,
stand.
Mr. Dunn.
That's
Yeah.
Thank you.
weird.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Alan Cadillo.
And Mr. Cardio, what do you do for a living?
I'm a director of photography on movies and television shows.
What is a director of photography?
Director of photography supervises all the photography for a project, hires crew, and in television shows guides guest directors through the process of that particular show.
And as a director of photography, do you work closely with the director on any given project?
Yes.
And how long have you worked in the film industry?
Over 35 years.
How many projects have you worked on?
Hundreds of projects.
How many
guy's a
days
heavy
of
hitter.
filming do you think
Yeah, he
you've
is.
done?
Thousands.
And are you a member of any unions?
I am. I'm a member of the International Cinematographers Guild, Local 600, and of the Directors Guild of America, TGA.
Tommies.
And have you worked on any projects that I might have heard of?
Yeah. Probably the biggest project I worked on was The Hangover. I was one of the directors of photography on
wow.
The Hangover. And Hangover 2.
Now, I want to turn and I want to talk about The Cleaning Lady. Did you work on a television show called The Cleaning Lady?
I did.
And what was your role in The Cleaning Lady?
I was the lead director of photography for seasons 1 through 4.
Were there more than 4 seasons of The Cleaning Lady?
No, it was canceled after the 4th season.
And so you were the lead director of photography for all 4 seasons.
Correct.
And as the lead director of photography on The Cleaning Lady, did you interact with Timothy Busfield?
I did. Tim came to us season 2 at the end of the season, episode 11. So he came as a guest director on that. And then they brought him back seasons 3 and 4.
For
I've
seasons
never heard of
3
this
and 4?
show
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
until now.
I think it was Apple
Why
TV,
did they
wasn't
bring
it?
him back?
Okay, I don't know.
He
I
was
bet you it's getting
well
some
liked by
views
the
now,
cast
though.
and the crew. Did an excellent job, and they needed somebody to help supervise future directors who were going to be guests to help them do that process for season 3 and 4. So he was a producer director for those last 2 seasons.
Okay. Yeah, what does that mean, being a producer-director?
Part of it is really he's helping to make sure that each guest director comes in, understands the process, and knows the ins and outs of working with the cast, understands the quirks of the crew or locations, and then also he supervises editing and music things and casting to some extent. So he's there to be a guide for the series.
And so just so I'm clear, Mr. Busfield was involved with the cleaning lady for season 2, episode 11, and then all of season 3 and 4.
Correct, yeah. He was directed 1 episode season 2, and then I think 2 episode 3 and 2 episode 4.
Okay, so he directed a total of 5 episodes.
I believe it's 5. Yeah, I believe it was 5.
Wait a minute. I thought he was on the entire run. No, he wasn't. 5 episodes?
All right. Well, I don't know.
Well, he doesn't know exactly, but 5, 6, 7 episodes. He didn't do the entire run.
Yeah,
I was under the impression he did the entire thing.
Who? This guy?
No,
Cordillo?
Timothy
Oh,
Busfield.
Busfield? Oh, yeah. I thought it was his show.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Nope.
was like an executive producer, which is kind of a weird position where what exactly do they do other than attach their name to it? But yeah, I don't know.
Now, have you reviewed the criminal complaint in this case?
I think he said he only
It's on
directed
deadline.
a number of episodes.
And are you aware of the allegations by, and I want to refer them by their initials. Okay, let's just make sure we do
Right
that.
back.
Okay.
Streamers
are you
Union
aware
break.
of the allegations by SL in this case?
I am, from that complaint.
And you know when I refer to SL, you know who I'm talking about,
I
correct?
do.
And based on your review of the criminal complaint, what is your understanding
Maybe.
of the nature of the allegations in this case?
I'm sorry, I don't. What understanding of the nature, like what happened?
What does
it-
he say happened?
Oh, he said that Tim touched him inappropriately on set.
And was that during filming? Do you know?
It seemed to me from the complaint he was saying it was on set while we were filming. You know, you said, I think I remember reading, he said something like, when he cut, he would come in and that's when he would do it.
Okay. Now, as the director of photography, did you work on every episode that Mr. Busfield directed?
I did.
Did you work closely with him on each of those episodes?
Yeah, absolutely. I work very closely with all of the directors, and that first episode he was a guest, so it was one of my jobs as we've been there for 2 years, is to make sure he understands our process, gets to know the cast and crew, sets and things like that. So we worked very, very closely. I never left his side.
Okay. And so, is it possible that Mr. Busfield inappropriately touched SL on the set of The Cleaning Lady?
No.
Why not?
Film sets may seem chaotic if you're an outsider, but everything we do is incredibly regimented. We're all
So you said, Derek.
professionals who all know what they need to do, a lot of times without being told. And at any given time, if the child was on set, there was at minimum of 10 people there on the set with them. It's just how it works. There's 2 cameras, 2 camera operators, 2 focus pullers, 2 boom guys, a prop person, a hair and makeup person, the studio person would usually be there, the first assistant director, 2 dolly reps, and that's for every take, for every shot, always. Especially with the children, because we had such a limited amount of time with the children. If they were on the set, we would bring them on and start rolling.
Get them in and get them the fuck out.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, cinematographer that's been doing it for 35 fucking years. It sounds like something we know. Just saying, folks. Sounds like something we know.
It sounds like something you've said.
Because once they...
I know a couple chings, couple 3 things.
Yeah.
The rules are such, if we go over, that's it, we're done. And we have to not shoot the scene and go over and spend a ton of money. So every second of their time was regimented. We often wouldn't even rehearse with the children. Especially with these young guys, they weren't the best actors. They were, perfect look for the show, but they weren't the best performers. So we would rehearse with the standing, which was an adult, And then we would just bring them in and have them do the part. So they a lot of times they wouldn't even be there for rehearsals.
All right. We're having a stroke.
And talk now about these boys and their parents, okay? During filming of The Cleaning Lady, did you get to know the boys and their parents?
Yes.
And how much did you interact with
The Cleaning Lady, it's on HBO Max, Doc.
those 4 people?
Well, not a ton, but I always take care. I always make sure I get to know the cast very well, and the crew as well, but the cast, and try to get to know the parents of children when they come on the set, so they feel comfortable, know that we're there taking care of their children, and they feel comfortable. So I got to know them. I would see them when they would come to set.
Okay.
And we did occasionally see them after, at rap parties and things like that.
Rap parties?
Well, when it's over, you go and have
Rap
have
parties?
dinner and to celebrate the season.
Great. The boys' parents, what were they like?
I think the mother was she always seemed very, very nervous and anxious and very quiet and reserved. The father was very aggressive, really very talkative, but didn't really seem to say much, just very aggressive, very kind of alpha male sort of.
Hibbity jibbity.
Yeah,
Like a
hibbity
typical
jibbity.
Sort of aggressive set parent.
Was there anything that the father did that seemed odd to you?
Yeah, I mean, yes. He was overly aggressive with me. I feel like he was always trying to be my friend or wanting to, go do things after work or go have drinks or golf or things like that. And I wasn't really that interested in that. Something he did do that for me that made me uncomfortable, and it was addressed earlier, was that he would have the kids. If we came on set and if I was giving a high five to the kids and they missed it, the father would go, hey, go give Mr. Allen a hug. And that made me feel uncomfortable because I would never let my kids just force my kids to hug
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
There should be
It's fucking
something
weird.
that they want to do, or it's mutual, not say you have to hug somebody. So that really kind of just nails in the chalkboard for me, to force one's child to hug somebody they didn't really know.
Did it seem like the father was trying to force relationships, between you and the children and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it did. I felt like, he wanted, honestly, I don't think he understood what I did. I'm not, a director of photography is a below the line person. We're not bosses. I'm the boss of my group, the lighting, the grip, and the camera people, but I'm not a decision maker. I don't cast, I don't do things like that. And I think he might have misunderstood what I did because people would listen to me on set because I'm giving people, put that light there, put that camera there.
You mean you seemed important?
I seemed important, and I think he thought, okay, then I better
Drive a
make
relationship.
Suck
sure
up
that
to
he's
this
got a
guy.
good relationship with that guy.
Yeah, because like for me, I'm a production guy. He wouldn't have anything to do with me. I'm a production guy. We're in different departments. He would hire I would hire him so that he could hire his own guys.
Yeah.
So you trust those. If hire people that you trust. This is the rate. This is what we have money for. Okay, and then he goes and hires his guys and figures out a budget for grip and electric and cameras and pullers and all kinds of that stuff. As long as I give him the budget and that he can hire his own guys. I never want to tell somebody you have to hire this guy, because a lot of people like to work with who they're comfortable with or who they know that's going to do the job for them. And then there was some loyalty stuff. So it's you worked with this guy on 5 shows, bring this guy along. I like this guy.
It's like a football coach. When you bring in a new coach, they're going to bring their guys. You let them hire their staff.
Exactly. Same thing. You get it. You understand.
I do.
Now, I want to ask you about the kids leaving the show. How did the kids end up leaving?
Well, a couple things happened. Well, several things happened. One, because of COVID, our schedule got extended. So when we started the project, when they shot the pilot in 2021, we didn't really even start shooting the series until I think the summer of 22. So that's a year later. So these children have already grown up, and the show takes place in. Really, I think the whole series, all 4 seasons of the show, I think take place in a 1 year or maybe a year and a half of time. It was
Story-wise,
it was compressed. And so,
Like I said earlier, the kids grow up, the kids' voices change, their look
Yeah.
changes, the whole thing. That all matters. People, there's so much to it that a lot of people take for granted, if that makes any sense. There's just a lot of moving parts to it.
because of,
Because people just watch a movie and be like, oh, that was nice. But they don't know the whole ins and outs of how it's actually made. You know what I mean?
I do know what
We
you mean.
had,
It's the same with
big
music.
Writers and
Yeah.
actors strike, so we ended up pushing. And the kids kept growing, so, by the time we started really shooting, by the time we got to season 3, they had grown different heights, or different heights, and their facial structures had changed, right? So they just didn't look like they did at the end even of the prior season. And it became, I think, clear that we needed to make a change. And it wasn't my decision, but, the studio decided.
Okay. And have you heard about how the parents took it when they were informed that the children were not be coming back?
I did hear. I was not there when that happened because we had already finished. That happened after we were starting season 4.
Yeah, they're not gonna. It's
Prepping
not gonna.
season 4, not
They're not
shooting.
gonna make a scene in front of everybody.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it after the fact, or like if somebody didn't like. If I went to set, okay, and they just didn't like me for whatever reason, they wouldn't make a scene. They just wouldn't hire. They wouldn't rehire me.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I want to go with this person. I didn't really gel with this person. Yeah. So a lot of times they won't say it to your face. So the kids not being recast, they probably didn't say anything. They just didn't call them back. It's like, oh, the studio wants to go with this. We're gonna look at a couple of kids or people to fill this role because maybe the studio has their guys or their girls that they like to go with, or maybe that they want to push for maybe another movie or something. There's a lot of politics and there's a lot of like jimmying for position. So maybe the studio's like, hey, we want this kid to take the role.
Plus,
Yeah.
plus this fella, as was he director of photography or whatever
Yeah.
he is, he wouldn't be involved in those discussions, right?
No, he would be attached to the director's hip, but walking around with him. Same thing with the first AD. So he is basically a soldier of what the director wants.
Gotcha.
They literally are attached at the hip. They eat lunch together. They have to be in cohesiveness because, like, you can't have the cinematographer has one idea for the show and the director has a complete opposite. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars.
It makes sense.
Everybody has to be in a cohesive unit.
It's sort of like the producer in music, whereas the songwriter has a sound in their head, what the song should sound like. And he's relying on the producer to make the sound in here to reality.
Live.
It sounds like
yes, exactly.
So a cinematographer would be director or writer would say, this is what I'm seeing. And the cinematographer, maybe to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be the one that could bring that vision to reality on screen. Okay.
So a prime example with the Warrior. Okay. If we were shooting in the kitchen and we had multiple angles, okay, we shoot this angle and then it's like, okay, guys, we're going to swing the camera over here. And then the cinematographer walks over, starts with his guy, and they're messing with lights and getting everything ready for this side of the thing. I'm walking over with the script, and I'm walking over to the actors and saying, okay, you guys got you good. You need to run. You need to rehearse your lines. We need this wardrobe on you. We need this hairstyle. And then we've already taken pictures because if we ended the day and we're beginning the day, I have to take pictures of exactly what the person looks like, what their hair is, the whole thing, because it has to fucking match up. Like there's so many moving parts to it that people just don't realize. So this guy and the first AD are literally attached at this person's hip.
It's actually, I'll use an analogy for this lawyer. This lawyer here has a vision in his head on the story he wants to tell.
Yeah.
So he's picking witnesses that will bring what's in his head to reality.
That's why he brought this witness. Because like I said, this guy is attached to the fucking director.
Yeah.
Whoever it was, regardless if it was Tim Busfield or not. Like they're literally like their fucking backpack.
And I heard that they took it very badly, that they were very, very upset.
Now, I want to ask you just one additional line of questioning. How much pay did the kids get for each episode?
I honestly can't say it. I'm not,
You
like I
wouldn't
said,
know
I'm
that.
not,
Yeah, he would
I'm
know
the
that.
working guy, not the producer.
Yeah.
I had heard that it was, you know, like around 50 to 60 grand, something like that,
Per episode?
per episode. I think that was between the two.
Like
Which-
combined?
Combined, yeah.
But the lawyer knows he wouldn't know
Again,
that,
I'm
which
not a
makes me
producer. I
question
know
why
they
he
never gave
asked
me a
that.
budget, so
Yeah, that's
I
kind of a
don't
dumb
know.
question.
But that's what you heard.
But that's right,
Oh.
and that doesn't seem. out of-
Yeah, because he's a
out of-
department head. If I'm a producer, I'm hiring this guy, and then this guy is running his department.
I think
But-
what he's doing, here's my guess, and I'm spitballing here, Derek, is that the lawyers, he's an expert witness on what he does. And the lawyer's
Okay.
trying to put guardrails onto what he doesn't know about.
Oh,
To say that his testimony is true because he doesn't get involved at all in the money stuff that these parents apparently are going at.
oh, I never thought about that. That's good thinking.
This is why you hire lawyers that can lie well and
There you
manipulate
go.
shit.
There you go. No, I never thought about that. That's actually good thinking.
I have my moments.
And how many episodes were there in season 1?
Season 1 was 10 episodes.
And how many episodes were there in seasons 2 and 3?
I believe those were 12 episodes.
Each?
Each, yeah.
So 34 episodes.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
So over the course of those 3 seasons, we're talking millions of dollars.
Not my strongest, but yeah. That's like $1.5 million, something like that. Correct?
I
Yeah.
don't think math is your strong suit.
It is not my, I'm sorry. It's not.
Now,
But
Mr.
he knew
Cudjoe,
that.
Do you have any
You-
idea
you-
how much of that money?
The
you
reason
got?
that you pay this guy is for his eye,
Yeah. He doesn't give a
because
fuck about-
he's gonna see something in the frame that's gonna make your movie pop, and that's why you hire this guy.
Right. He only cares about one paycheck, and that's his.
Correct.
Right.
And then taking care of his guys. Because the tech guys, the camera guys, the grips, the electrics, they're a tight knit group. They bust their ass, but they're very tight knit, and they all watch each other's ass.
Yeah.
And if you're not like that, they will kick your ass out and get somebody that is like that.
Yeah. And this guy's got to take care of his good guys, like a quarterback needs to take care of his offensive linemen with gifts
Yeah.
and stuff, buy him cars or whatever.
But then you've got some guys that are in this department that talk shit about fucking production all the time. Wow, fucking production doesn't have the money to fucking do this and that. So you gotta watch fucking production guys will start fucking talking shit. I walked into one time, one of my best friends that was out there, and one of the grips or somebody was talking shit, and I'm like, bro, you need to shut the fuck up, dude. I'm personal friends with the producer of the movie. Just shut the fuck up. Well, you know, this not. It's like, oh, bro, you just need to fucking calm down, dude.
Yeah. Well, people like that don't generally raise any higher in the hierarchy.
No,
You-
because they're
like-
just they get hired by somebody.
But here's the deal. Like
Yeah.
I have a lot of people reporting to me at work, and I ran a bar with people. Everybody thinks they can do a better job than you.
Yeah, yeah.
But the difference is they're not responsible for doing the job I do. So
Yes,
shut the fuck
yes,
up and
they're
do what
just-
I tell you. And if I suck, then they'll get rid of me and you'll have an opportunity. But until that happens.
Their job is soldier, but they want to be the general.
Correct. Yep.
It's like, you know how you ever heard the thing is there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians? Same
Oh,
shit.
yeah. Yep. What did The Rock used to say? Know your role.
Yeah, know your role and
Actually
shut your
set
mouth.
aside for the children.
I do actually. My son was in a commercial, a nationwide commercial, when he was 5 years old. I was shooting the commercial, and so then I was able to get him in, which is great. But it was a significant amount of money. It was a Super Bowl commercial, and so I was told we had to start a thing called a Coogan account, which is, that you create a fund that isolates the money from the parents. So when the kid turns 18, they get that money. And interestingly, I thought it's 15%,
I'm
but
sorry.
15% is what they need to
Put aside.
put aside. Yeah, but I actually thought it was the opposite, and I put 85% in the Coogan, thinking because it was shocking to me that parents can take 85% of their child's income, which is shocking, right? So
interesting.
It was so absurd to me. I put 85 in and not 15.
And so the parents get to keep if they choose 85% of the money that their
Yeah,
children make.
it's considered income, but yeah, they can spend it as they will, and there's no rule against it.
Okay.
We were chatting about that earlier.
That's all I have.
Okay. Ms. Brandenburg Cope, do you have any questions for Mr. Cudjoe?
I do, Your Honor.
Awesome. Can you spell your last name for me?
It's called C-A-U-D as in Denver, I-L-L-O.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
It's my understanding that you wrote an affidavit,
I did.
and when did you write that?
So just for context, 1939, the case exposed the financial vulnerabilities faced by child actors, and it became the catalyst of establishing the California Coogan Law in 1939. This law mandates the creation of a blocked trust account, commonly known as a Coogan account, for child performers.
There's been lots of stories, Derek, of actors in the past saying my parents stole all the money I made. And all this
Corey
money.
Feldman said
Yeah,
that.
well, there you go. It always comes back to Corey Feldman.
It always does. So his parents probably were forced to do a Coogan account, but then he's going to say that they spent the 85% on whatever.
Yeah, if the kid made $2 million, 15% of that is what, 203. That's $300,000 the kid gets, and the parents get the other 1.7 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, who knows? I don't know. But based on the parents and what I read about them and their shenanigans and convictions in the past, I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it past them to.
But then that's why child actors will do the thing where they get custody of their own.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Emancipation.
Emancipation. Yeah. That way they don't have to have the Coogan account. They can take 100% of whatever it is that they have.
It's weird, man. Child actors. What a weird.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
I believe it was the 13th
Of January?
of January, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have a copy of it, and I'm not great with dates either.
That's okay.
I'm not working, so, every day is just today.
That's okay. If you need a copy, I have one if you need to see it. So you stated, and in your affidavit, that you were with Mr. Busfield 100% of the time.
On
Wait,
set, yes.
On set. So did you see him tickling and picking up the boys?
I never saw him tickling or picking up the boys.
So you know that he did say he did tickle the boys.
I think
got
it was
them
in
ready?
the complaint, but yeah. But I never saw him picking
Yeah, they're
or picking up his boys.
woman.
Also, you, in your affidavit and just now, you stated that the dad of the victims,
Mm-hmm.
you had some concerns about him,
Yeah, he just felt weird to me. He was kind of creepy, to be honest with you.
and that you didn't like that he had his boys hug you.
He had his boys hug everybody. And so I just thought that, again, that this is just my personal belief about how I raise my children, which is that I wouldn't force my children to do something.
Okay.
That could be, it's just weird, so.
So did you continue to hug the boys when they came?
I actually rarely.
And politically, we probably don't align, but I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Politics should be thrown out the window when it comes to children. Everybody should be protective and not.
Yes.
If your 7-year-old son or daughter doesn't feel comfortable hugging somebody, then you don't force them to. It's just weird.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
It's weird. And I remember as a little kid, my parents would be like, go say thank you for the gift. But they didn't say go hug them and kiss their ass. No, they just say go thank them. So me and my brother have to go, thank you so much. I appreciate, the gift. It was so fun. And all this. That was it.
It's called manners.
Yes.
Parents should teach.
Go over there and bump and grind with them and hug him and kiss his neck. They did not say that.
No, thankfully, no.
Rarely hug the boys. I would always I would do a high five or, just do like the very, as simple as I could. Again, he's a parent. He gets to choose how he raises his children. I am uncomfortable with that.
Did you tell him that you had concerns, saying, I don't want to hug your boys?
Again, he's their parent, and I trust that he's doing what he feels like is the best he could do. I have concern with that.
Right, but for you, since you didn't want them hugging you, you never told their father.
No, I didn't say I didn't want them hugging me. I just said I'm concerned that a parent would force a child to hug a stranger.
See, she thinks she's getting him with this.
Say, hey,
Yeah, she
go
does.
with that person.
And I'm like, you're not.
She's not good. I'm sorry for this. She's the state. It's not like it's just a civil trial. She's the state, and she sucks.
I know. She's like, oh, well, you think it's weird that parents would make their 8-year-old children hug men?
That's freaking
And
just
he's like-
weird.
He's like, yeah. I mean,
What do you think? Oh.
To hug kids, and I'm not saying I love my kids, and I love these little boys, and I wanted them to be happy and healthy, right? So, I'm just saying, for me, that was a concern for me as I looked at the father.
Did you ever have discussions about that with anyone else on set?
No.
What does this have to do with anything?
Well, his credibility, I guess.
Well, I guarantee you lied there. You probably
When
mentioned to
were
somebody,
you-
"Oh, the dad's a little
When
weird."
did you read the criminal complaint?
Whenever it came out on deadline, to be honest, it came.
Doc says, "Welp, she has no children."
See, that may be.
Hell, I
Maybe.
don't have kids, but I wouldn't have kids forced. Absolutely, dude. I don't have kids either, but I would not. I would be so overly protective of the real small kids. Once they're a teenager and they're an adult, you got to hope and pray that you did the right thing. But small kids, oh no, you're not doing shit. You're right next to me. You're not calling him Uncle Tim. You're not giving fucking hugs and kisses and puppy dog. That's not going to happen.
I have 4 kids. I was married we had very close friends that were married friends with kids of their own, and we would all get together for parties every
Yeah.
year. And these are people I knew from high school. I never once told any of my kids, go give Uncle Johnny a hug. And I knew these people. Like,
Yeah.
I trusted them.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
It's weird.
But it is Hollywood, so they do things.
No, it's
differently.
Albuquerque.
Whatever. I mean,
Came out on deadline, and I downloaded it and read it.
And who contacted you to write this affidavit?
Melissa, Tim's husband, asked if I would write something.
Tim's wife?
Tim's wife.
Okay. And did you send that to Mr. Dodd's firm?
Yes, they contacted me and asked if I would do it, and I said yes. So I wrote it and sent. I actually think I sent it to Melissa,
Okay.
and then she forwarded it to.
And you are aware at that time when you wrote this that the defendant did admit to tickling the boys on set?
I'm aware that he. I'm sorry. Could you rephrase that question?
You are aware,
I'm going to object.
yeah, get in there.
Overruled. Go ahead.
thank you.
Ooh,
You were
shit.
aware, because you read the criminal complaint,
Uh-huh.
that the defendant admitted to tickling the boys on set.
Well, it was in the complaint that he said he tickled him. Yeah.
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dodd, did you?
You proved nothing.
No, she didn't.
He's like, well, yeah, I saw it. I saw it in the complaint. I never saw him tickle anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
This lady is just not good. And
Right.
she's over there sitting there proud of herself, like, we got him now. He's done.
Just trifling.
All right, you want to switch
Who's that old dude, I wonder?
Your Honor,
I'm
at
not
this
sure.
time, I'm going to hand it off to my partner, Ms. Fairberg, to make argument. Thank you.
Got a good head of hair for like an 80-year-old. I'm angry.
Are you sure it's not a wig?
Oh, could be. All right, here comes a heavy hitter in her fucking clam digger pants.
Oh,
Come
here we
on
go.
now.
She a gangster like the guy is?
No, we've all been busy this weekend. There's a
See.
lot of things, so I just want to be organized here for the court. Your Honor, I want to start with a presumption, not just in New Mexico,
Doc.
but in our
Did you read that,
Yeah,
in
Julia?
general.
I
This
did.
comes from the United States versus Salerno, out of the United States Supreme Court.
I've been to Albuquerque one time. I've been at the airport, and then one time when I was driving from California to Georgia, I drove through New Mexico and stopped in Albuquerque, and I was not impressed. I thought it was a shithole.
I had the same experience in
our
Phoenix.
society, and I quote,
Even
Your
though
Honor,
Phoenix is okay, Glendale's good. Outside of
Almost-
Phoenix,
Yeah, I almost got run over by a truckload of Indians. It was not exciting.
engines as far as like Indians or like motor engines.
Actually, engines in a truck with an engine, like Native Americans in a truck. Were doing donuts in a parking lot, and I was trying to walk to the oddly enough Redskins bar in Phoenix.
Redskins bar in Phoenix, huh?
In right across from the hotel I was staying at. And I was walking there. I'm like, well, I'm going to get a drink because I don't have to work until, work was over. And I'm walking alone through this big, mostly empty parking lot. And a bunch of, I don't know, weirdos in some truck were doing donuts and shit.
So you didn't have any good experience in New Mexico.
Once I got in the bar, it was fucking awesome. But yeah, getting into the bar was no good. I thought I was going to get scalped.
Oh, there is something good about New Mexico. Is I went and saw where Billy the Kid was buried, and he's got a cage over top of his burial site because people try to take the fucking headstone that says "Pals" on it. Where it says William H. Bonney and it says pals.
Gee, that's a shame they have to put a cage over it.
Yeah, that's in New Mexico. That's sweet. And I went to the Billy Kid Museum where it's got like Pat Garrett stuff and Billy the Kid stuff. Yeah, that's a thumbs up in New Mexico. But everything else, fuck it.
Big stupid desert.
Quote, in our society, liberty is the norm, and detention prior to trial or without trial is the carefully limited exception.
Go on.
That's based on the presumption of innocence that Mr. Dodd spoke about earlier, and it's echoed by Article 2, Section 13 of the New Mexico State Constitution, and of course, Rule 5409. This is in addition to the principle articulated in Gerstein versus Pugh that an accused may not be held absent a finding of probable cause. And Your Honor, I recognize that there's a finding of probable cause here by the Metropolitan Court judge signing the affidavit. But I actually want to encourage Your Honor to, in considering all of the evidence that was not available to that judge at that time, all of the pieces that were misconstrued in the complaint, as Mr. Dodd said, that does not appear to have been a neutral piece of evidence. I would actually encourage Your Honor to keep it in the back of your mind. Is there really even probable cause in this case? But setting that aside, what we in this state have required, have asked and required of the state of New Mexico is that they must prove both dangerousness and that no conditions, no combination of conditions could keep the community safe, that they have to prove that by the exacting standard of clear and convincing evidence. Now, as Your Honor is aware, there's a lot of evidentiary latitude in these hearings, but that's not a reduction of their burden. All of that evidence, whether it's by a proffer, criminal complaint, things that wouldn't be admissible at trial, it still needs to be, according to the rule, reliable proof. It still needs to be reliable. And our Supreme Court in Mascareno versus Hadel has described that burden, clear and convincing, as evidence, and quote, Your Honor, quote, evidence that instantly tilts the scales in the affirmative when weighed against the evidence in opposition. The state's nowhere near close to such an instant tilt.
They did jack
Not
and shit,
even
is
close.
basically what she's
and Your
saying.
Honor, I'm not going to rehash every single one of the 5409 factors, although I will touch on them throughout my argument, but please let me know if you have a question about any one of them. But the state bases its motion on two: the nature and circumstances of the offense charged and the history and characteristics of the defendant. We just heard Ms. Brandenburg address the defense's concern that the state of New Mexico, both in public statements and now here in court, has acknowledged that, yeah, when they accuse someone of a crime against children, as a matter of routine, they file for pretrial detention. That's not what our law contemplates. This isn't meant to be routine. This is the carefully limited exception. And what we see is an approach that does not treat it as such. Basing the detention on charges alone is just not enough.
That's what I said.
And again, I want to read to you, Your Honor.
I always like those videos where it's like, do, 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 and puts a hat on with the fucking thing. Yeah. She's nuking him. She's absolutely fucking nuking him.
Yeah. I did not like, however, when she was, I don't know, for me, like if I'm the judge and the lawyer's like, well, if you have any questions, you can ask. And I'm going to ask you to keep this in the back of your mind. I'd be like, bitch, I'm the judge. I know the law. Just get on with it.
Get to the point.
If I have any questions, I might ask you.
We told the other fucking weirdo to get to the point. You need to get to the point, but she's fucking torching him.
From Mascareno versus Hadel, because our New Mexico Supreme Court has addressed this dead on, of whether the allegations, the nature of the charge, the statute under which a defendant is charged, is that enough? Is that enough for pretrial detention? And they tackle it head on and they say no. And I quote, to allow the state to rely solely on the nature and circumstances of the charged offenses, not only to prove that the defendant poses a future threat to others or the community, but also to prove that no release conditions will reasonably protect the safety of any other person or the community, would all but eliminate Article 2, Section 13, and the corresponding constitutional burden of the state. Close quote. We just heard Ms. Brandenburg say, yeah, anyone who's charged with a crime against a child is manipulative, cannot be trusted. There's no conditions of release that could possibly control that. And Your Honor, I would push back strongly on that. Not only because our Supreme Court has said explicitly, that's not how we do this. That's not how we do this procedure. But also, I think that really minimizes the power of the court, the power of pretrial services. The idea here, and I just want to address this up front, the idea here, based on this pattern that the alleged pattern that I will address of brought forward by the state, what I understand they're saying is that there is an allegation that Mr. Busfield has, over the decades that he has been in Hollywood, has exploited his power for touching, mostly, by the way, post-pubescent adult women. So again, I think there's a disconnect here that undermines the allegations in this case, but that there is a pattern of doing that, exploiting his power. I think we need to acknowledge the reality of the world.
Can you
that we
pause
live
real
in,
quick, Derek?
that
I have a problem
power
with what
is
she just
gone.
said.
All right.
She said was mentioning post-pubescent women, right? So basically, in a nutshell, what she said was, yeah, he may have felt up a 16-year-old here and there, but she wasn't 7. I mean, that's kind of an odd strategy to go on, but
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so where was the theater company that he was a founding member of? Was that New York?
So what was it? The South something or other?
Age of Consent
Well, that's a
in
slope.
New York. 17.
I'm just saying the way she said that was like, don't know. But whatever. I guess she's, being a stickler for the actual law. So I'm sure she's getting.
So that's probably why the dad feels so bad and didn't do anything, because the girl was 17 and she technically was of legal age. So it was probably up to the girl, not the father.
Okay. That's fair. If she was 17 at that
Yeah.
particular time, then
And
really,
again, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying is the legal age of consent in New York is 17.
Okay.
She was 17. So it was probably up to her if she wanted to do something to Busfield.
she would be of quote
And the
adult
dad couldn't
age.
do nothing, so that's why he's like, I wish I could have did something, and because he probably couldn't legally.
The state has canceled Mr. Busfield. His talent agency has dropped him. He's been edited out of a recent rom-com, a project that was just about to be released. Not. He has no power. He is persona non grata, and that's not because he did anything wrong. As Mr. Dodd has very well said, he's presumed innocent. But that's because of the world we live in, and it's because that these allegations, this complaint, is not only all over New Mexico, all over the national media, it is all over the world.
Yeah.
It's too late. That bell can't be unrung. The idea.
I mean,
that he can
we're
then
having a
go
live stream
out
talking about it, so.
and be dangerous with a child in the world where everybody knows who he is
He may be
absurd.
a creep, but
That's
he's not
absurd.
that kind of a creep.
Or that he could exploit power. He's not getting anybody any roles. He's not advancing anybody's career. And I think what this shows, Your Honor, is that the state is not acknowledging the individualized circumstances of the defendant, not acknowledging the reality, because what they're doing is they're proceeding as a matter of routine. So I just wanted to get that out there in the open. But now, Your Honor, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about these exhibits that the state has characterized as largely irrelevant, which I frankly find incredible. This evidence was compiled, as Mr. Dodd said, not by the state, not through some nefarious means by the defendant who's been in custody, but through a legal team, and mostly through people reaching out to us. Because again, this has been all over the global media. This is no secret. I don't know why this evidence is not portrayed in the criminal complaint. I don't know why this evidence has not been considered by the state of New Mexico. I'm frankly surprised, given the weight of this evidence. I'm going to say it outright, Your Honor. There is not a universe in which the state has the evidence, and we've received their discovery. We received it on Friday, as you know.
Oh.
There's not a universe that they could prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. It's impossible. So the fact that we're here, again, I feel like we're in an incredible situation right now.
She has a bossy
So what
way
this
of saying it,
evidence
but I agree with what
shows
you
is,
said.
one, the state's witnesses aren't credible, and although Ms. Brandenburg-Koch said that that's not relevant to the detention inquiry, yes, it is. Of course it is. Because, again, Your Honor has to base your decision on reliable proof. Well, if the allegations aren't credible, if the witnesses aren't credible, it's not reliable. The other thing that this pile of evidence shows is that the complaint itself isn't credible, meaning the actual four corners of the complaint. There are so many omissions, so many independent people coming forward to say, I've been misrepresented in there. And again, it's not, nobody's seeking these people out.
I read it earlier where the one lady said that it wasn't exactly what I said.
I don't know. I'm just saying they should have let the guy keep talking. I'm not.
I don't know. She's pretty good. She's a lot better than the other freaking lady for the state.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And then finally, it shows that the allegations aren't credible. And I heard Ms. Brandenburg-Koch say a couple of times.
I don't have a
that
problem with her.
The defense argument, the
She hasn't used buzzwords like fucking grooming and all this other bullshit.
That's true.
allegations aren't credible doesn't hold water because the boys have never said that this happened alone. That's not true. That's not true. Again, this is a case that has had evolving allegations. But as we see in Defense's Exhibit I, Your Honor, the second Warner Brothers independent investigation, which directly addresses the allegations herein, but the state did not include or reference in its criminal complaint, specifically says, and I'll just go ahead,
I mean, yes, she did whine about that, but and I hate if people on the right do it, and then I hate when people on the left do it, where they already convict you before the fucking trial has even happened. And Hollywood is notorious for that, where it's like they encourage bad behavior, but then when something legal happens, I'm distancing myself from the situation. So people in Hollywood do that shit all the time. And people on the left do it and people on the right do it. And I don't like how either way they fucking do that. You can't automatically assume the person's guilty.
She's sort of like the guy lawyer went up there and he was addressing the case itself. She's almost like meta arguing about the whole process. Basically what we talked about earlier, like, so somebody said this guy did something and he said he didn't do it and he automatically gets stuck in jail on cuffs because somebody accused him of something that's not proven. Yeah. So
it's up to the state to prove it, and they are already convicting them, basically.
All right, you're right. I see where she's going.
So, I mean, she did whine a little bit about it, but I understand where people do that shit all the time, where it's like they immediately convict somebody before they're actually fucking legally convicted.
Yeah, the male lawyer said he didn't do this, and she's going, and it's ludicrous that he's sitting here in cuffs.
I mean, come on, we've covered how many people? Michael Jackson was convicted before he went to court. The actor, I can't come up with it on top of my head. There's been multiple actors part of the Me Too movement that were convicted before they went to fucking trial, and then what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They weren't convicted. They did nothing. But they automatically pulled their shit before they were even fucking convicted or went to court.
Yeah, you're convicted in the court of public opinion, which has a big financial.
Correct. That's what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that he's already been shit on, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're just going to put him in and lock him up even without evidence.
Yeah, now his name's got a stigma attached to it, and now
Yes.
nobody's going to pay him for anything, even though he.
Instead of saying we're going to bring you to court and then we'll see what's up. No. They convicted him and put him in cuffs and everything else.
Skip forward, and I quote, Your Honor, from, again, that's Defense's Exhibit I, that the allegation was that Mr. Busfield had isolated the twins, quote, out of sight and sound, quote. That's the allegation. The fact that these allegations have evolved only makes them less credible. That actually, no, it wasn't out of sight and sound. It was where everybody could see it. It was, so I just want to put that out there now. I want to start with the criminal complaint. And Your Honor, I'd like to use my microphone here. I'd like to play for Your Honor Defense Exhibit Z. This is an audio-only clip
Z
of the first interview that police had with the boys in 2024. And Ms. Brandenburg-Koch has said, it's not good practice to be asking kids questions before a safe house. I agree. And what this evidence shows is that there's been a good year and a half of their parents coaching them along before the safe house. So I agree. But this is in the beginning. This is the first time they speak. And so this starts with VL, Your Honor. And assuming that my technological prowess is not terrible, I'm going to play it for you right now.
And you know what's right and wrong, right?
Hold on, we're going to start over. And obviously, I'm not playing the whole interview for Your Honor.
And you know what's right and wrong, right? Where people can't touch, where people can't do. Yeah, you know that, right? Does Tim ever do that?
No, he's never touched me.
Never touched you?
Yeah.
In your private areas, right?
Yeah.
Never did that?
Never.
Okay.
Let's go on, Your Honor, to Defense Exhibit AA. This is 5 minutes later, separate. The boys were separated. The same police officer, this time speaking to SL, out of the presence of his brother.
So, you know what's right and wrong, right?
Yeah.
You don't know when to touch your private areas?
Yeah, but he doesn't touch them.
Doesn't touch your private parts? Okay.
That's not, Your Honor, a failure to disclose. That's an express denial. And the officer followed up.
Can't argue with that.
Sure he didn't touch your private area.
They have on tape or on audio the kid saying no. They have a witness that's literally walking around with the director the entire time. What did the state bring? Nothing.
Which leads me to my initial question from the beginning of our stream, like, why is he in jail in cuffs and in a jumpsuit?
Exactly.
They accused him of doing something, and the people that they accused him of doing it to are saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why there's cops around. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense to me either.
Maybe I'm naive, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Is because the conversation before, I'll express to Your Honor, the conversation before that was, does Tim tickle you ever? And they said, well, my shoulder sometimes. Do you like it? I kind of like it. I kind of don't like it. And then they went into the conversation about the private parts. This was not a failure to disclose. This was an express denial. And I want to talk, Your Honor, about the medical records that the state has referenced. We did not submit them as exhibits, but given the state's argument today, I would like to read a couple of pieces from it. And that is because the state's made the assertion that SL reported to his therapist unprompted and not to parents. It didn't come from parents. And what we see from the records is that's not accurate. It's not accurate. This complaint is not credible. This is from, I'm just going to read a portion. I'm going to read a few portions, but this one is from one of the very first notes. And in the room are SL, his father, Ronald Rodas, and the therapist. These are her notes. And I quote, "Father then told client that client needs to trust therapist and feel safe to talk about the abuse so that client and family can heal." Only after that did then SL say, okay, well, here's the...
Talk about grooming. They basically told the kid what to think before he went into...
Mm-hmm.
And if that's true, that's another fucked up with the parents.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, this whole thing stinks like yesterday's diapers.
Yes, it does. Yep. In legal terms, yes.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit quote? Come on now.
Great movie.
Here's the abuse. This was not a spontaneous disclosure that happened with someone he trusted. This was in the presence of looking at dad. And the reason we know that is because there are other medical records that say, there are so many things, and I want to make sure I've got the right one.
Come on, girl. Prep.
Okay.
Prep.
There's an allegation in the complaint that SL was having nightmares, suffering from PTSD from this abuse. Well, what the medical records show is actually he wasn't. He wasn't having nightmares. When his father is not in the room with him, when his father's not in the room with him, SL tells the therapist that he's waking up at night, and I quote, "waking up at night due to being too hot or too cold." His father tells that client is having a nightmare when client wakes up, but client does not remember it. Multiple times throughout the medical records.
That was good.
Multiple times, SL tells the therapist, "I wake up because I'm hot." And then the therapist says, "Well, why don't you tell your dad that you're not having nightmares, that you're just hot?" And then this is what he says to that.
Why didn't the state have any of this stuff?
Well, they don't have anything. And I think what she's doing here is smart,
Yeah.
I think, anyway, is that he forced his kids to hug people they did not want to hug. What is making you think he wouldn't force his kids to think something they didn't think or say something that was untrue?
Yes.
It's a pattern.
Is they want to say it's a pattern. It's a pattern with the parents.
Yes, it's gonna. Yeah, that's what I'm getting out of this. Anyway,
Yeah,
from what I've heard and read.
I don't think the state did this because it's not good for their client. None of it's good for their client. When the little kid's like, "No, he didn't touch me."
I think because it's an accusation of some sort of child abuse that the state kind of has to prosecute, no matter how weak or like Swiss cheese the evidence is.
I think so.
So the other lawyer may be doing the best she can do with what she's given. I don't know. Maybe.
You're giving her a lot of credit.
Well, but she doesn't have a choice. She has to prosecute this. It's not like she can say, no,
There's
I'm
not
not.
other
Client feels
district
the need
attorneys.
to please his father.
I would imagine
And
if
at
you're
times
in the
he's
government,
scared
they
to
tell you
what's
what
going
cases
on
you're going to
due
handle,
fears
but I
of
could be wrong.
disappointment.
I don't know. Listen, full disclosure, I
These
fucking
aren't
hate lawyers.
credible,
All of them.
non-exaggerated
I do.
allegations.
I think it's a
These are
disgusting fucking
manufactured
profession
allegations.
because you're paid to lie.
This complaint omits all of that history. All of that history. But not only that, we know that it also misconstrues conversations with its own witnesses. I'd like to play for Your Honor Defense Exhibit S. This is a voicemail left, not solicited, left to the Busfield family's personal attorney. This is a voicemail from her.
Hi, this is Danielle Vigil. I'm reaching out regarding Timothy Busfield. I noticed that I was in the police reports for his warrant, and I was not very happy with how the detective twisted and used my words and just picked and choose what he wanted to put into that report. I don't.
Oh, is that the
feel
hairdresser?
comfortable with a man sitting in jail right now.
Not sure.
When I know what I said, and that's not everything or twisted words into the report. So I would like to be able to speak with someone about that because this has gotten kind of out of hand. So thank you. My phone number is 505.
We won't say her phone number.
So, Derek, like I was saying earlier, that
She's not
guy,
the only
Christopher
one.
Dodd, the lawyer, introduced
States,
this
Defendant's
detective
Exhibit-
into the
states
story,
Defendant's
and that's the
Exhibit L
payoff.
is an affidavit of Christopher
It's
Carr.
what's
She
it?
says the same thing.
Chekhov's
She says
detective
that the
is what
detective
it's
omitted
like.
from the
Chekhov's
criminal
gun.
complaint things that she thought were
Very smart.
crucial. That set teachers never left the boys unsupervised.
They're a good
that
team.
There were always 20 to 30 people in the room. And that she never saw. She never saw the kids ever alone or somewhere.
Oh,
where other people could
they're
not
fucking slamming it.
observe.
Yeah.
But now,
Agree.
let's get to the crux of it, because this is something Ms. Brandenburg-Koch talked about. The parents here. The parents. The issue is not that people with a criminal history cannot be the victims of crimes.
All right, let's
That's
go,
not
girl.
what this is. That's
Bring
not,
it.
oh, there was a DWI here, or there was a conviction back there. That's not
Happens.
what this is. I think I'll say it the most simply. These two parents have a documented history. They're con artists. Actual con artists. Ronald Rodas. Ronald Rodas, Defendant's Exhibit A, the DOJ's press release. The DOJ's press release after he was convicted of wire fraud, defrauding 1,500 homeowners during the mortgage crisis through a sham law firm of over $6 million, served 3 years in prison.
Oh shit! I didn't know
and was
that.
disbarred in the state of California. And this is what the DOJ says, and I quote from Defendant's Exhibit A. It is an unfortunate truth that people often take advantage of a crisis for personal gain. The Rodas Law Group was among the worst type of scammers, trying to take advantage of homeowners already experiencing profound heartache in the face of potential foreclosure. I didn't make up the word scammer. That came from the Department of Justice. And Angel LaSalle was
Ex-lawyer sentenced to 41 months in prison, term boiler room mortgage scheme. A former lawyer, Long Beach, has been sentenced to 41 months in a prison for his role of a mortgage modification scheme, which posed as a successful law firm. Ronald Rodas, 52, lent the name and voice advertisement touting the services of Rodas Law Group, which offered loan modification services for a flat fee. Federal prosecutors charged him and two other men, Brian D'Antonio and Charles Wayne Ferris, of conspiracy to defraud struggling homeowners by misrepresenting Rodas Law Group ability to negotiate the terms of home loan. Rodas pleaded guilty in 2016 in one count of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and wire fraud. This dude is a piece of shit.
He's a fucking gangster. That's what they indict gangsters on: wire fraud, like mafia guys.
Piece of garbage. Garbage.
But Timothy Busfield's in fucking irons and a jumpsuit because this guy said, it's just, this is
A thing. Yep.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to get an
Defendant's
opinion on
Exhibit
this
E and
case.
F. That's a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit. Again, not just some unrelated idea. This is about stealing. This is about defrauding people. Had a Bentley, sold it for $90,000.
Yep. Got a Porsche.
Didn't turn over the title.
It also says, on Tuesday, Rodas and co-defendant Ferris was sentenced to 47 months in prison in order to pay $3,826,000,000 in restitution.
What? Billion?
Yes. Let me share this shit again.
Holy, that's like Alex Jones level.
Yeah, right here. Sentenced 47 months in prison and ordered $3 billion.
Well, that's ridiculous. He's not going to, I mean.
Was previously sentenced to 97 months in prison, a year in halfway house, and ordered to pay $3 billion in restitution.
So that's the father's like cohort.
That's the
Italian
father
guy.
and his two co-workers or co-conspirators. Man, this dude is a piece of shit.
The guy's
Good
last name
Lord.
was D'Antonio. I don't like to throw my fellow Italians down the river,
Had the
but
car unlawfully possessed, and then
I don't know.
fraudulently traded it in for a Porsche 911 in her mother's name. And that's in addition to a domesticated judgment for over $75,000, well, including penalties, but a $75,000 judgment for bad checks written at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Oh, you can write checks at the MGM Grand?
Really?
You didn't let me do that. I had to come
Maybe
in
checks for
straight-
cash or something?
I need to come in with straight cash at the MGM.
If the boys said this never happened, why are we here? And we're here, it's documented through these witnesses.
All right,
We're
she's
here
nailing it.
because those boys lost their role. They lost their role, and exhibit after exhibit talks about, we've got Defendant's Exhibit I, the Warner Brothers investigation, which describes the star of the show, Elodie Young, who was close with the family, saying that after Ronnie and Angel found out that their kids would be recast, actually used the words, they would get revenge on Tim Busfield.
Shit.
We've got the affidavit of Chris Ford, Defendant's Exhibit K, which says the same thing. That he, while out at a dinner with an actress and the family, they were upset. They were visibly upset that the boys wouldn't be back on the show. And same thing, she said she'd get him, quote, have his ass, unquote.
See, she's doing a very good job. I feel like
criminal
I could
complaint
do a
is
good job
making
with
good
all
on
this
that
evidence
promise.
on my side.
And to address Ms. Brandenburg's Coke's
Yeah.
idea of, well, you don't get money from the criminal process. No, it also wasn't their first stop. They got a civil attorney first in California, who then interacted with Warner Brothers. They didn't contact police, again, until after Warner Brothers in September of last year came out and said, there's nothing behind these allegations. Translate, we're not gonna give you any money. Then they went to police.
So hit pause real quick, Derek. I have a real quick. I know we want to. So it sounds like we were talking about the 15-85 split earlier, where parents control 85% of the child's income. Sounds like they might have spent that all on legal fees for their own shenanigans and restitution.
That's
that they had to
probably
pay.
why it was a big deal that they weren't being asked back, is because they were making $1 million between the two kids.
That maybe their parents were like the director of cinematography was saying, like they were just weird. Like you just don't. Maybe the
And
kids were
anything
all
that
right.
they could to try to get something on somebody to make money, they probably did.
Yep.
Go ahead, go and hug him and call him Uncle Tim. It's okay. They probably didn't tell the kid that. The kid just went over and did it. But in the back of his mind, he's looking at some sort of angle that he can pull.
I feel bad for these kids.
Yeah.
There are other ways in which the complaint mischaracterizes what happened. The idea that Mr. Busfield told these kids to call him Uncle Tim. Both the independent report, Exhibit I, no one ever heard him being called Uncle Tim.
That didn't
except Miss Young, who said she heard Ronald Rodas say, go hug Uncle Tim. That's consistent with what you heard here from Mr. Caudillo. Exhibit N, affidavit of Joe Lotito. Never heard anyone say Uncle Tim. Exhibit BB, this one was just submitted last night.
She's up in a double letters. Good for her.
And I quote, she also said that Mr. Busfield never asked to be called Uncle Tim.
Okay. Assuming that she can provide all this proof, documentation, the audio clips that we listen to, the whole thing, there's no case, right?
The way it's being presented now, Derek, I don't even know.
It's done. There's no case.
He should walk free.
Yeah.
Be done with it.
And
Based
I quote
on what
from
we've
her,
heard.
I also had the opportunity to observe the twin children referenced in the case and their parents, Angel and Ronnie. I observed the twins' father, Ronnie, telling his children to hug adults on set, including Mr. Busfield. I never saw Mr. Busfield initiate one of these hugs and never heard anyone call him Uncle Tim. Contrary to the allegations in the complaint, Mr. Busfield was not, quote, touchy on set and instead appeared focused and professional, close quote. And finally, Exhibit O, Copper Perry, head of the hair department, same thing. Never saw anything creepy or touchy. The allegations continue to fall apart. And this is under the idea that we've already discussed a little bit, this idea that they are impossible. It's not just Exhibit I. It's not just the independent investigation which, as Ms. Brandenburg characterized as minimal. I don't know why she's using that term, considering they interviewed, I believe, 9 to 12 witnesses over several week period and came out with a comprehensive report. I don't see how that's minimal. But in addition to that, Exhibit K, Chris Ford, that someone always had, quote, eyes on Tim Busfield, because he was the director. Also said he didn't have his own trailer. This idea that he was causing trouble in his trailer, he doesn't have a trailer as the director. Exhibit L, Kristen Carr. The kids were never alone, always 20 to 30 people around. Exhibit N, Joe Lotito.
I mean, she's throwing like
Kids were never
Joe
left by
Lewis
the
style
teacher.
bombs, like
Yeah.
one after the other.
Quote,
Just-
it is inconceivable to me.
Like she
that the
blew,
alleged
like
conduct
instead of
could
blowing
occur
holes in a cage,
because of the
she blew
number
like
of
cannon
people
shots
that
into
are always around.
right.
Close quote. Exhibit O, Copper Perry. The boys are always accompanied by a set teacher, never alone. And this is in addition to their parents. Their set teacher, there's also their parents around.
That's right, Doc. I
The
completely
photographs
agree with that
that
statement.
are referenced in the complaint, which are, I'll tell Your Honor, Mr. Busfield is standing behind the boys, has his arms a little bit around them, and you
Yeah.
can see that he's kind of tickling their shoulders. I do the same thing with my kids to get them
Sure.
to smile in a photo. And who else is in the photo? Their mother. This isn't the idea that they discovered these photos later. They took the photos. They were in the photos. And then finally, something we haven't heard from the state at all, it's Defendant's Exhibit P. These are other parents, Erica and Adan Ortega, parents of a child actor who had no concerns, but also
They need
said
to go back.
there's always supervision. And that they can always
Agree with
observe
that,
the
Scorpio.
minors. That basically, they're never alone. And finally, Exhibit Q,
Yeah.
the same thing.
Well, Scorpio with the
Parent- this is
cops
the
around
parent
him.
of the
That is
child
optics.
That replaced SL and VL. The kids were never alone. Said it was a great place to work. The only issue was that they were getting abuse online from family members of the LaSalle and Roduses. And then same thing, Exhibit R, Deborah Toner,
Holy shit.
her affidavit. Quote, "I
She's
never
just
observed
destroying
unaccompanied
this case.
minors. All minors on set were always accompanied by
The state
an
had
appropriate
7, and then
supervisor."
all it was
And then, Your Honor,
former
there's that
allocations
photo.
from 25 years ago.
It does
Yeah,
matter.
show
It
the other
does
lawyer.
bear
She's probably
on
crying,
this proceeding
drinking.
exactly. Because
Oh,
again,
she's
the
melted.
allegations never
I mean, she
happened.
doesn't have a case.
We can't detain
And she
him.
only could deal with what she
We
had to
can't
work.
detain him if we say, okay, this probably never happened. There's probably not even probable cause for it. But we do have some unfounded, some as yet unsubstantiated allegations dating back 1991, 1994. Again, all with post-pubescent or adult women. No bearing on this case. That's not how the law works. We can't say, well, it doesn't matter if he says he didn't do this. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. The bottom line, Your Honor, is that the overwhelming evidence is that this didn't happen, is that this was manufactured, and there is a credible story here, and it's a very sad story, and there are victims, and they are still these 2 boys. They weren't victimized by Tim Busfield. They were
Wow.
victimized by their own parents, who no longer could make money as a lawyer.
Kill shot right there.
God damn,
Done.
she's killing it. Yeah, hell yeah.
Taking 85% of the money they made.
I
on
knew they were going to
video
come guns a-blazing.
and
I
then
knew they were.
manufactured into victims.
Yep,
as
and
revenge.
she's just said that they
That
probably
is what
ran
the
through the
evidence shows. I
85%.
realize I'm running out of time.
You are. So I'm going to push you. You've got 3 minutes left. Are there
Thank
The
you,
judge
Your
is like,
Honor.
I'm good.
Six factors.
Don't need to stop now.
You got 3 minutes left. There's
You
one
wouldn't-
case is
yeah, he's-
done.
Right.
One
She's
thing
dead
Your
already.
Honor,
Go
I'll address
ahead.
the history.
It'd be
the
interesting to
alleged history.
see
And
what
I
the
do a little
cops,
bit. I
because the
do
cops are
encourage
just
Your Honor
standing
to
there,
look at,
and they're just like, this guy's going to get let free.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Dodd would never make that mistake.
He might
That's
just
fine.
change his
That's
clothes and take the fucking cuffs off of
the,
him.
affidavit by Matthew.
Like her
I'll give
fucking
you-
case just got nuked.
Yeah, just nuked into orbit.
Another parent
I got to give the
pushing
judge
forward on
props.
their
He hasn't said a
case.
fucking word.
Oh no.
I'm gonna
He's
go
like,
through
all
the
right.
I'm good because I don't,
public safety
Judge. I want them
assessment.
to.
You've seen the
This
ABLE
is the
assessment
case.
that is
This is what
absolutely
we're
relevant.
saying that he
It's
allegedly
absolutely
did,
relevant because
Yes.
this
and the
is
state did
no
not
risk.
have a case for the shit.
So I ask Your Honor, what
And
the
we
state
said that
offers is
before
what Rule
they got
5409
nuked.
demands is
Well,
reliable evidence.
the
presentation was
that
shit.
Because
precisely
Derek, like I always say,
that's what
we've
the
been
evidence
around the
wants to do
block.
right now.
Yeah.
I've been in court.
The LaSalle
you,
Rotus
you get a
has
gut
already gotten
feeling
its
of
revenge.
good people have a gut
Mr.
feeling
Busfield
about
has
bad
been
people.
canceled.
Yeah.
His
And
career
I'm
is
like,
over.
this smells
In the
shitty.
span of 6 days, it's done. Edited out of projects, talent agency dropped him, allegations plastered all over global media of pedophilia, his wife under attack.
All right.
His life is ruined. but his liberty, under the rules, under the Constitution, under the facts of this case, can be restored. And I ask Your Honor to restore that liberty. And you've got 3 ways to do it. 1, there's no evidence of dangerous, certainly not clear and convincing.
Don't tell the judge what he can do.
There's definitely not clear and convincing evidence that no combination of conditions could keep.
Well,
the
she's got to
community
speak for her
safe.
client.
And finally, I ask Your Honor to reconsider the probable cause in this case.
I do actually
Because
take
then
that
it would
back,
be
Jack. You're
patently
right.
unconstitutional to hold him.
He's going in for the kill
He should
shot.
be
Yeah.
released on his own recognizance. But even if Your Honor has any hesitation at all, well, that's easy. That's easy. A no contact with kids order. House arrest here in Albuquerque. He doesn't have a community in Albuquerque. He has no power.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. This idea that, there's no way for the court to know if people charged with these kinds of crimes can talk to children, that's not how our courts function. We function on the presumption of innocence, and I ask Your Honor to please restore Mr. Busfield's liberty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Wow, that was good.
It was good.
Okay, let's turn back to the state, Ms. Brady-Brooke.
Judge, can you just let me know how much time I have?
10 minutes.
You pick the prosecuting attorney up off the floor, please, and have
Yeah,
her
no
escort
shit.
it
She's
out.
got 10 minutes to do what? Take your fucking shit, take it off the desk, and just walk out.
Can we please give her some Kleenex?
What is she going to say that's going to unnuke it?
That was an impressive tag team by those 2 lawyers.
Yes, it was. Well, and if you're representing Tim or whoever, you have to come in guns a-blazing, right? Like whatever you have that's going to nuke the state, you have to.
Yep.
Because it's up to the state to come and say that they have the burden of proof, that they have enough evidence to convict, and they didn't have shit. And then his lawyers came in here with fucking full backpack, just fucking like Rambo style,
like Duke Nukem.
Yeah, like fucking Duke Nukem.
But if you're paying the lawyers that much money, you better get bang for your buck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I keep going back, like, who's going to pay his gas for the 2,000-mile trip? Like, somebody needs to, if he is found innocent, which I'm still not saying, it sounds like he is to me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's going to make up for this? He has to put out money for these high-priced lawyers. He had to put gas in his car.
And if he gets off defamation character, he could sue the shit out of the fucking parents.
Yeah, but the parents
Sue
probably
the shit out of
runs
them.
through all their money, and so you can't take blood from a stone, as they say. Like, the people who are accused of crimes they did not commit and it's proven, there should be some sort of financial restitution for that. It's just
same thing. The girls that say they were raped and they weren't. Same thing.
See, to me, that's easy. If you lie about that, then you go to jail for the same amount of time that guy would have gone for jail if he was found guilty.
It happens to a couple women that do that. It never happens again.
But here, well, Derek,
because the girls will be like, it's not worth the risk.
That's right. And what the problem here is, let's assume these charges are false.
Yeah.
Which I think the both of us are kind of leaning towards with our non-legal minds. The parents of these kids are doing a disservice for children who actually get abused in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because now nobody's going to believe, you see what I'm saying? It's a complete disservice to the actual victims.
Mm-hmm. You're correct.
Judge, again, I want to make this very clear of what we are here on today. We are here to see if the court agrees that the defendant is dangerous, and if there are conditions,
I
the court
know she
can
did a
set,
good job.
which the state's argument is there are none.
Yeah. You see what they?
Defendant's
They're not
exhibits
talking, but they're
and
writing.
argument
He probably
here
said, "Great job."
Don't talk.
Did she kind of give like a
about
smirk?
what this case is about. They're trying to
Tim Busfield's doing the
use
same
the
thing. If he has
parents'
something to
history,
say,
and
he doesn't
that's
say it
why
like so that they can read his
these
lips. He just writes it
victims,
down.
Essentially, they're saying are liars and are going to, and they're being coached, even though
Yeah.
Sorry. That was my timer for Ms. Fairburn.
at least it wasn't.
Oh, dude, don't fuck it up like that.
Thank you, Judge.
Sorry about that.
Oh man, she had an extra minute to nuke her.
There was medical concerns about sexual abuse prior
Women have ruined
in
everything,
November
Derek.
of 2024, made by the doctor after seeing the kids.
Even though
in this-
the woman on defense is a fucking G, so she's in with the men. This
She was
lady,
a-
forget her.
Give her a man card. I still
So-
hate her because she's
Yeah.
a lawyer, but she's
How
good at
this
it.
even started was because a doctor, in his experience, was concerned. Not because of anything else besides what he thought and what he saw during presentation of the kids. I've already laid out, and I know the court is very aware of how
she's
kids
trying.
disclose
She's going to get an
abuse.
A for effort.
Yeah.
But
This
it's
is the
nuked.
norm.
Pretty thick.
It is not
When you
true.
have
Talking to
a
the
person
state
that's following
that
Tim around the entire time,
They didn't
you
disclose
have
to police right
the
away.
kid
especially
on
when the
record saying
questions
that
were,
he didn't touch him,
inappropriate.
and then you
they were
have
leading in everything
multiple
that best practices say
other pieces
what-
of
how kids
evidence
should
that
not be
completely
asked
nuke the
questions.
case. You're
Yeah.
done.
It's a blowout.
For defense to get up here and say,
I'm sorry, it's an
that
ego
their
issue. Because if I was in her, the
disclosures of
prosecution's
sex abuse aren't
okay, yeah,
credible
we
because
rest.
of the parents, even though they have continued to
tap
show
out.
signs.
Dude, like what's
and
she gonna go
show,
on? Like
and continue to disclose
You know
the
what I mean?
abuse.
You gotta say
all
something,
very
I guess.
similarly, is what is here in front of the court.
I mean, we're talking over her
Again,
because we
this
know
isn't
anything
a-
that's come
a
out of her
mini
mouth
trial, and yes,
is
the court
bullshit.
can judge credibility and the weight of the evidence. However, this is one factor. Of course, that's an easy defense to say these parents are liars and they're coaching their kids, and this could never happen. Even though there was concerns back in November of 2024.
But I think these parents are liars, and I think they are coaching their kids.
There
Yeah,
was
I think they
concerns
are.
again with another medical professional. There was more concerns at Safe House. So this isn't a one-time disclosure where parents are telling them what to say.
Write that down.
And I know the court is aware about coaching and how difficult it is to coach a child at that age and to continue and remain
No.
consistent.
No,
she's going based
Not
off
really.
of feelings, and everybody else goes based off of facts.
Kids are very, at this age,
That's
very
exactly
black
what she's
and white.
doing.
I
Well,
ran
I
into-
feel
To then
that
say,
he was grooming,
"Oh,
and
yes,
I feel
I'm
that
gonna
When I was
this
going-
and that.
exactly
when I was going through
how
my custody
parents
battle, I
told
ran
me
into
to say
women
it,
like
even
this
though they were
all
able to
the time in
give
the court system.
details of how he touched them. They corroborate the defendant's statement that, yeah, he did tickle them all over, which I think is important because defenses, all of
Says
their
who?
exhibits contradict what the defendant also already admitted to, that this conduct could never happen. And
No,
nobody
she's
saw
not.
anything. The witness
Not smart,
himself
Doc. Nope.
said, I was with him 100% of the time, but never saw this tickling or touching, even though the defendant himself said he did it on set.
She's never been on a film set. How can she say that? She's never been on a film set.
I mean, at this point, you have to define tickling. Is he like grabbing them and coochie cooing their sides, or is he like rubbing their shoulder for like a half a second? Like I was saying earlier, my soccer coach would grab me on the shoulder and kind of.
She never defined all these buzzwords that she was using at all.
No,
The groping. She never said what happened with the groping. When she said grooming, she never defined what she defined as grooming and what the kids defined as grooming.
Yeah.
Like it's all about what I feel, and she got nothing to fucking like evidence wise.
No, this poor woman was sent out with an Uzi with no
and getting
mags.
them
in it.
ready to act.
Just an empty chamber.
So that is not reliable when the defendant's own testimony, own statement to police is that he did in fact touch them.
Was she nervously writing?
I hate my life. I hate my
And
life.
if
I hate my
defense wants to say that the civil suit is the
dozen
standard
eggs.
here,
Screwed
the
up.
defendant also
Like a
has
grocery
civil
list.
suit, a sexual assault.
Oh, eggs! I gotta give some
Civil
eggs and some milk.
It shows a pattern. It shows a history.
I gotta
of
give the
his
money, the kids
characteristics.
milk money tomorrow.
The defendant is famous, wealthy.
That lawyer in the background's drinking
influential,
water
as
like
you
I'm
can
drinking
see
Coors
by
Light.
all of the
She's
exhibits
like,
provided, which all these character witnesses.
she's
these
taking a victory lap at
87
this point.
letters he was able to get in 7
Popping
days.
bottles.
The
Oh, yeah.
victims, the way that these cases are brought forward is by what victims say, not what their parents are telling the police. And we have to, if there's other credible evidence that their disclosures are credible, we move forward. I don't want to
travesty.
discriminate because they have a history. and neither should this court. The victims are little boys.
It doesn't matter about their history, but it matters about Tim's history, right? Okay. You're done.
She's just
See ya.
crashing and burning.
They
at
didn't
this
have
point.
power. They didn't have money. They don't have influence to get all of this support to show how they're not lying.
She's about to cry.
Why?
She's about.
It's not
Is
only the
she not about
defendant's
to cry?
reputation.
That she is.
Defense
She's going to
has
be day
leaked all of
drinking
these
after this game,
exhibits
like right
and
afterwards.
has gone
She's about
after
to
the
fucking lose and
parents
start crying.
to show this narrative that it's all the parents making this up. The boys at 11 years old can't
Yeah,
even
she's got a tick in her
comprehend.
voice that she's about to start fucking crying.
She deserves to be humiliated on the public stage. Fuck these women who
How
get
to
in the
get
legal.
revenge and what this would do, and why put themselves in a position to be criticized, to be called liars, to continue to go through trauma. They were diagnosed, and very much so, therapists know about coaching, and if the therapist had a concern about coaching, would have put it in her note and would have disclosed that to the detective as well.
It's
There was
conjecture.
no indication that she was concerned about coaching.
This girl is a baby seal amongst sharks,
Yep.
and she got fucking gobbled up.
Yep.
Neither was there concern about doctors thinking there was coaching going on by the parents, by professionals that know how children disclose. Abusers, especially people that go after people that don't
I'm
have a
beginning
lot
to
of
think that
authority,
there, Mr. Doc.
children, people that, are employees or work on a set. They take advantage of this very dynamic. No one's going to believe them because they have this history. They're kids. They delay disclosed.
She having a stroke?
Most importantly, defense has not.
No, she's about to
shown
she's about to start crying, dude.
Or
Look at her eyes.
argued at all.
Her
that
sentences
there
are-
are conditions to release
She's so
House arrest
her eyes. She's
is not a
watering up. Her
condition.
eyes are watering up.
that can secure the community.
Disaster. Does she have a
And her-
wedding ring on her
You
finger?
have
I
87
don't know.
letters in
And
front
her
of you.
okay, so
with most
doing a
of
little
them saying,
behavioral
"I would
panel.
trust
Look
him.
how much her
He would never
fucking
do
eyelids
this.
are
I would trust my
going
kids
nuts
with him."
Yeah.
because she doesn't. She's fucking trying to. She's trying to hold back
So you
fucking
can't
tears.
tell those people they can't come over with their kids. And we know that they're not going to come forward and
She got
say,
fucking crushed.
"Oh yeah, I did let my kids around them." House
You
arrest
need
is
a-
not
a dozen
proper-
eggs
proper
again.
remedy when we're talking about conditions of release here.
I need some Scott towels.
Am I wrong? I mean, chat.
There is
Doc, am I wrong? Am I
probable
wrong?
cause has been
Does it
found
not look
twice
like
in this
she's about to
case
start
already.
fucking crying?
The boys have continued to disclose, have cooperated, despite them being drugged through the mud in this case. And this is only
Dragged.
the beginning, as the court knows.
Not drug.
This process is not easy for
The mud. Tim only got called last Friday. How is there a mud?
I'm more triggered about her using the word casted
And
and
I never heard about the victims until what 2 days ago when they were where he was in court for the first time. How is that drugged through the mud when it's literally been like 2 days?
you're right, Derek. She should just tap out and go, the prosecution
Victim.
rests.
Yeah.
Done.
let alone for young children. And most importantly, all of their letters go against the reasons why he should be released. That support shows you his power, his influence, that will continue and allow for this behavior. And most importantly, understate versus Begay.
She's still not
Is
having. She's still
the
not
court
presenting
has to
any
decide.
kind of evidence.
Despite
How about a
other
witness?
factors,
How about
fact that-
anything?
A
And the
lawyer's in a
risk.
court of law complaining about the power
is the
dynamic.
court
Yeah.
willing to take
Is-
the risk that this
I
could impact the
hate lawyers. Hate
community
them. Hate them.
again? And
Emotion,
there's
emotion, emotion. All
nothing
her arguments are
besides the state showing the
punctuated
history
with
of the
emotion.
defendant
Yep.
that weighs for why he should continue to be held.
She has not presented
They
one
have proffered no information
piece of
that would
evidence.
comply.
The defense
fact,
fucking nuked her with
what he
what?
has shown is that he will comply
15
when
different
he
pieces of
wants to,
evidence?
when he's ready.
I lost count.
Yeah.
What benefits him.
These poor cops should be throwing illegals over the border at
And
this
I'm
point. They're
asking
wasting
the
time
court
in this court.
So what do you
to
think?
hold
What
the
do you think? Do you think
because those risks are
Do you think okay, so we know the outcome because we've seen the news, so we're gonna let it play out, and then we'll have a little conversation afterwards, and then we'll be pretty much wrap for it.
real, and his history shows this court that those risks are real. There are no conditions that this court can set to make sure anybody in the community, anybody in New Mexico, anywhere, that this danger wouldn't happen. The court can't make pretrial do any of those for the concerns in this case. And I'm asking that the case hold the defendant pending trial. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brandenburg.
Nuked. Didn't bring anything different. If I'm her aide, I'm basically like, okay, I need to get the fuck out of here. Right, Doc? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but
I do want
it's
to address the target letter.
she
The
didn't
target
bring
letter has
any
been sent.
evidence.
CDOT
She
had
didn't do
access to
anything
that
other than just
since the 16th
try to
of January.
plead to emotion. She's the state. It's her duty to say this is what we have on him, and we're going to prove it. And she never did that.
I agree.
Okay. The court will find and rule as follows. The question is whether or not the state has proven by clear and convincing evidence that there are no release conditions that would reasonably protect the safety of any other person or the community. It's broken down into the three-part analysis articulated in State versus Groves, and in that analysis, the court considers the factors enumerated in Rule 54906 as required by State versus Anderson. The first question is whether or not the information proffered carries sufficient indicia of reliability to be worthy of consideration. I do find that the state's 6 exhibits and the defendant's 28 exhibits and the court's 2 exhibits and the testimony offered today are reliable for purposes of this decision. The next question is the dangerousness question, the extent to which that information indicates that the defendant may likely pose a threat to the safety of others if released pending trial. I'll back up and note that probable cause was found by the Metropolitan Court judge. We're not set for a preliminary hearing today. I do find that that is sufficient for a probable cause finding for today's purposes. So, as to the dangerousness question, based on the nature and circumstances of the present offense, noting that this is a crime where the allegations involve criminal sexual contact of minor children in the genital areas, I do find that is inherently dangerous. So I'm satisfied based on those that the state has proven that Mr. Busfield does pose a danger to the safety of others. As to the last question, whether there are any potential pretrial release conditions that would reasonably protect the safety of others, I'll work my way through the F6 factors, first adopting my findings about the nature and circumstances of the present offense. I'll move on to the weight of the evidence. Now, Ms. Brandenburg-Koch is right. It's important to acknowledge the nature of sexual assault cases and delays in reporting, especially from minor alleged victims, are fairly common. That sort of sexual abuse often occurs in the dark.
But she never proved it.
This
They're not
situation
victims, they're
is
accusers.
a little different in that the allegations involve the defendant being alleged to have committed these acts on a film set. Now, the defendant's presentation, the affidavits from a number of people who worked on that film set, the independent investigation performed by the law firm hired by Warner Brothers, the testimony offered today do not corroborate the allegations offered by the alleged victims in this case. Now, while true, the statement from those children to law enforcement initially and expressly denied that anything occurred, the children then subsequently reported these things. That's not uncommon. As it stands today, based on the limited information I have in front of me, I'll characterize the weight of the evidence against the defendant as neutral at this point in time. As to the defendant's history and characteristics, as included or reflected in Court's Exhibit 1, this defendant exhibits 0 criminal history, no misdemeanor or felony history. The state has brought forth a number of allegations over the last 30 years, something of a pattern involving allegations of this defendant committing some sort of sexual contact against post-pubescent women. Now, these allegations have not been vetted by the judicial system for various reasons. There being a civil settlement in one of those, a declined prosecution, or no action taken on the exchange of the defendant engaging in therapy. I understand that given the media attention to this case, that more people may come forward with other allegations supporting this pattern. But at this point in time, it's difficult for the court to put too much weight into those allegations as they've not been vetted by the judicial system. I'm concerned about the allegations of this defendant using his position of power on the film set to advance his own personal motive. But the affidavits offered by other people working on the film set do not show that Mr. Busfield has used or abused that position of power. With regards to the nature and seriousness,
and why are you concerned about it?
I'm very mindful of the higher court's guidance in the Begay case in weighing this defendant's risk of reoffending. But given the lack of a pattern involving children in this case, I think that can be remedied through different conditions of release. For factor E, I don't find that there's been sufficient presentation that this defendant may commit new crimes if released pending trial. There's no evidence of a pattern of criminal conduct. There are no similar allegations involving children in his past. There's no evidence of non-compliance with prior court orders. Rather, this defendant self-surrendered and submitted himself to this court's jurisdiction, demonstrating compliance with the court order for his arrest. There's not been any prior pretrial detention finding. So on the balance, I cannot find that the state has proven by clear and convincing evidence that there are no release conditions that would reasonably protect the safety of any other person in the community. So I am denying the state's motion. I'll take care of that order. That'll be published tomorrow. So Mr. Busfield, I'll set the following conditions of release. You're authorized for release under our recognizance with the conditions that you appear at all future court settings. You not violate any laws. You'll be supervised by pretrial services here in Albuquerque at a level 2. I'm not going to prohibit your travel. I understand you may not live here, but you will need to report to pretrial services here. You're not to possess any firearms or dangerous weapons. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You must notify the court of your address.
Hey, you're right, Doc.
You're not to have any contact with the alleged victims or their families, and you're also not to discuss the case with any witnesses. That's what the attorneys and their investigators are there to do, and we can't have you tamper with any of that. And then you need to maintain weekly contact with your attorney in this case. So, Mr. Busfield, do you have any questions for me about what any of those conditions mean?
No, sir.
Okay. So, attorneys, I'll take
Good
care
answer.
of that order tomorrow. Is there anything else the state would request, Ms. Brandenburg?
Good, I would ask for no contact with children under the age of 18.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No unsupervised contact with any minor children in this case. Mr. Dodd, any other conditions you'd request?
No, Your Honor, I would ask just if the court can get that filed through your TCAA today so that I can...
Oh, the conditions of release? Yeah.
Yes.
I've already, yeah.
Perfect.
That'll be filed today.
Thank you.
I'll take care of the full detention order tomorrow. And so with that, anything else, state?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
In defense?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all. We'll be adjourned.
All rise.
have some issues with the ruling.
I mean, okay, so the floor is yours, Mr. Julio.
Okay. From what I heard, again, not a lawyer, just going with what I heard, analyzing it like a human being. I don't think the state proved anything. So I'm glad that they released Timothy Busfield on his own recognizance, but why does he have to stay away from people under 18? Why can't he have a beer? Why? Why was he in jail? Why was he cuffed in a courtroom? Have you heard anything that would lead you to believe that the man can't have a drink? Or be around
because it was alleged that he was drinking on set, and it's one of those things where it's like, if it means you staying out of prison or jail, are you going to stop drinking for a few days?
Oh, sure. No, yeah, absolutely. But
I'm just saying, like,
have to. Nothing was
I
proven.
understand that, but it's like sometimes just say yes, so it's out of your life.
Yes, that's a very pragmatic way to look at it, but it's not right.
So
based on what I heard, he should be able to leave and be done with it.
Yeah. So just my wrap up, and I'm not a lawyer, don't claim to be a lawyer, just based off of watching this and having my own opinion, being on multiple sets, so I know the set life. The state did not provide appropriate or enough evidence for me to say, yeah, this dude's a fucking shithead. Get him. She did nothing but call him a groomer, and that she said, he said, somebody said, and power dynamic. And then she come over and pulled stuff from 25 years ago, which, yeah, it knocks his credibility, but it's one of those things where it's like, ultimately, those were, again, with girls, it wasn't even the same type of case. So it's like the state had all of the opportunity to say, we're going to get this guy, and this is the evidence that we have to get him. And she did not at all. I think she should have just completely just excused it, like case dismissed. We got nothing.
So the state proved absolutely nothing, but he's still under restrictions for doing nothing. But okay,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're right. He's happy to be back home. So
yeah,
I guess it's like a Pyrrhic victory, as they say. It's good. Now, before we sign off, Derek, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think these trials should be televised at all?
I think so.
Okay, why?
Because I think it's just transparency. People can learn how the law works. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of different things.
Okay.
Why, you don't think trials should be televised?
I'm on the fence about it. Not sure.
Hey, what I mean, what's wrong with it?
What business is it of mine?
Oh, that's Court TV's been around for fucking 40 years.
Well, that's my point. Like, why
Judge Wapner was around before that, and then
I love Judge Judy. I will say that, but that's all.
The People's Court was before that. I mean, it's always been a thing.
That's fugazi shit, though, Judge Judy. That's all scripted bullshit. I'm talking about. No, it is, but I'm talking about real trials that affect real people. Like
that doesn't satisfy this particular case. The state didn't have shit, and the defense completely annihilated the fucking state.
Okay.
She was about to start crying, and that's not good for the state.
No.
She should be embarrassed. She should.
It was an uphill climb for her, and she didn't make it.
Which is not, because they have the burden of proof. They're the ones that are supposed to prove that he's a shithead, and she did not.
We'll see. Despite my, maybe thinking this should not be publicized, I'm sure we'll be.
It would not surprise me if quietly this trial goes away.
Maybe
it wouldn't surprise me, because what case do they have? What do they have? They don't have anything.
Plus, I'm more like, who's gonna, like I said earlier, who's going to repay Timothy Busfield for time missed in jail or work lost because of these alleged false accusations or legal fees?
Yeah.
Like, he's fucked even if he's innocent.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yeah. So, but I enjoyed this. I don't know did you enjoy this?
I had a great time watching it. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I think if it's relative to what the channel is about, we're going to definitely do more of these. I don't want to do any more than a couple hours of it because I think it's like it'd be way too much to do a freaking full ass 10-hour trial or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I find it fascinating to watch lawyers strategize and how they do their, because it's a very unique job, even though they're all going to hell, but it's a unique job, and it's interesting to see how well people can lie.
Yeah,
which is what lawyers do.
So yeah, if it's relative to somebody that we cover or something that's on the channel, we'll definitely do some more of this stuff just to kind of change it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
do different content but it's also what we talk about, movies and music, TV.
I told you before the show, I'm like, yeah, I can do a couple hours or whatever, but I was riveted. I'm like, never mind, I'll just hang out until it's done. It's good.
So that's cool. We'll definitely do. It won't be a regular thing, but if it's like I said, if it's something that pertains to what we talk about, then yeah, we'll definitely check it out.
Sure.
And we've been covering this case for a week, so it was like, okay. When I saw that, it's like, Julio, are you available today?
Yeah, sure. Got nothing going on. Why not?
Yeah. So yeah, I had fun.
Me too.
I had a lot of fun. Even though we're not lawyers, I still like digging deep and like, this motherfucker's a liar. She's a liar.
You don't have to be a lawyer to tell who's bullshitting.
Exactly. And who has a case and who doesn't.
As a matter of fact, like when I watch LawTube, I'm like, it's more about these streamers trying to prove themselves right as opposed to giving commentary on what's happening in front of them.
That's true.
Like why, they're just sitting there saying, well, I'm smart. I know this statute and I'm smart. And I'm like, all right, just watch the fucking trial.
Just simmer down.
It's similar to like political shows where like, well, the Constitution actually says, I'm like, shut up. It's just. I did not, Doc, but I will check it out right after the stream.
Baker Matt.
Baker Matt, speaking of music, the Prominent Citizens on YouTube. Thank you, Doc. I saw you watched. I appreciate any support I could possibly get.
And go check out The Wire on Relay, YouTube, Amazon. Hopefully a couple other ones down the road.
Yep. All right, man. Derek, I'll see you soon.
Yes. Sunday? Question mark?
Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Saturday, because you're busy Sunday. Saturday.
Yep, I'll be there.
We'll do the regular news stuff.
That's right.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Later.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do,